Obsidian Orbital, thanks for having us. This one goes out to all the commanders out there. It's called Victory. I hope y'all like it. 1, 2, 3, let's kick it.
Welcome, everybody. I am very happy to be here today and do something a little different. Today, we're going to be checking out a pre-early access. I don't know, I'll let Fernando say what he's calling it at this point, but we're going to be checking out Hunternet Starfighter. I'm joined by the currently, basically, if I'm right, Fernando's sole developer, Fernando. Welcome, buddy.
Hey, Exigeous, thanks for that welcome.
Absolutely.
I'm currently the only, developer in terms of like programming and game design, only person working on it full time. But I am blessed to have a team of players that are helping me. And a lot of stuff we're going to see today is actually done by some of those players. In particular, a lot of the new art, well, all the new art has been done by Boxel. He couldn't make it here today, but he deserves all the credit for the amazing art that we have in the game. And then Starstep, who is here with us, he's a designer who helped with some of the visual design and a lot of the marketing material too. And he did the beautiful logo that you'll see debuting in this build. And then I've also had help from Lamaro, who might join us later, who has done most of the music in the game, except for a few old tracks and a lot of the sound effects. And Ivan, who isn't here, who's done the wonderful new cockpit design, which isn't in the game yet, but is on our website, cockpit.cpudreams.com.
I'm going to bring that up while you're talking right now.
Those guys are all players who have kindly volunteered their time, and the game wouldn't be the same without them, or really all the test pilots who have been testing the game for many months and some of them for years.
Yeah, that's great. And so why don't you tell us a little bit about what Hunternet is?
Okay, Hunternet is a space combat simulator. It's currently in alpha. Right now, it's very much focused on, one-on-one and team matches. But the idea going forward is to expand the gameplay to include a persistent world that you can explore and, jump between with some additional mechanics such as an economy and bringing the large NPC crafts that you currently don't control to life. But when you go the game right now, the closest thing I would say, it's similar to close quarters combat in Elite Dangerous, but the idea is to expand it into, when the game is fully realized, to be more like Elite or Star Citizen, having an actual universe to explore.
Yeah, because right now, we should make it clear to everybody that again, I've said this a couple times, we are even pre-Kickstarter, pre-early access. We'll talk a little bit more about that here in a bit. But so, this has been, again, Fernando, other than some art assets and things like that, you've done all the development at this point. Is that correct?
I've done all the programming.
Yeah.
And I'm the main person working on it.
Yeah. So just as you guys are seeing what we're doing, realize this is a team of one, right? We're used to seeing Frontier and a team of, arguably, at least claims, of 100 or so. So, while I say that for two reasons. One, just to, realize that we are early, we're going to see some of the combat and stuff. And so there's not a lot here in the one hand, but then on the other side, I actually mean that very complimentary, because given one person has done this, there is a ton here in terms of the core of it and what I think for me, and you guys tell me, a lot of folks that play Elite, I think most of us play it because of its flight model, right? Because of the way it feels to fly, and because of that. And to me anyway, there's a few things we'll talk about as we get into the flight stuff that are, not as happy for Elite pilots, right? But it is a fantastic feeling flight model, right? So I think given that that's already there, I'm not going to say the other stuff is easy to come by, obviously, right? But it, that gives me a lot of hope that this is something that an Elite player would be, certainly an Elite combat player would be interested in, right?
Yeah,
and actually,
it's a very focused project as well. We're not promising like 500 different things that'll take millions of years to develop. It's a very focused project.
Yeah, certainly for right now, right? And so I guess let's talk about, maybe, does it make sense, Fernando, to talk a little bit? Oh, and actually, the other thing, two quick housekeeping things, guys. Number one, pre-stream, there's some issues going on with Discord. They're mainly affecting me. Apparently, it's the Atlanta area, and that's where I am. So if something goes bizarre during the stream, bear with us for a bit, but voice has been solid so far. It's just really chat, text in Discord. So if you're trying to get me in chat in Discord, you're not going to be able to. Try to at me on stream. And then number two, we're going to open up the multiplayer portion of this, because we'd love for you guys to try it with us. We'll talk about the instancing and stuff here in a bit, but to download it, just in both chats, you can type just !Hunternet, and it will give you the link. They're kind of on screen in the chat right now. for you to download it. It's a 900 meg download, so it's not that big. For most of you guys, that should be very, very quick and easy. You just extract it, run the executable. It's that easy. Not even an installer for it right now. So again, we'll open that for the second half. And so now let's go back to what we're talking about. Fernando, are you still with us, right?
Still here. I want to say one little thing about the download.
Please.
The download is going to take you to a sign up form. It's a very short Google form.
Great.
And the version that's currently on itch.io is the version from last week. The new version that we're playing is not live yet, but it will be live up 30 minutes into our stream. And then itch will allow you to patch it, so you won't have to download everything from scratch. But the nice thing about that is you can see a little bit of the before and after. So the New York server and the Frankfurt servers are on the new version, and all the other servers are at the old version. So you'll be able to play right away, but you won't be able to join us on New York until after that patch is released.
Yeah, great. And I see Mango in Twitch chats asking, and there was an answer from Starstep, who's helping out with Fernando Starstep's with us today. Hey, welcome, Starstep.
Thank you.
Is it server-based or peer-to-peer based? And it is server-based, guys, and that's what's great about it. So none of this instancing crap that elite players are used to and fighting to get 2 or 3 or 4, Lord forbid, even 8 people into an instance. What's the current limit right now?
So the hard coded limit is 700 players in a single instance. The biggest concurrent player base that we've had is 26 players during a previous stream.
Sure.
I've tested with hundreds of test clients in the past, although it's been a while. But the goal is to support instances of 100 or so. If the game continues to scale up to 700, then that's fine. But at least 100 in a single instance is what I want to support.
Yeah, so how does that sound, everybody? I don't know about you, but to me, that sounds absolutely fantastic. I was, as some of you know, I was kind of surprised to see in one of my recent polls that a lot fewer people play Elite socially than I expected, right? Because that's absolutely how I play Elite. And so a lot of those things that might not affect you if you're a solo player or, an alone player, right? That affect all of us, that this just removes from being server based. And Fernando, I don't know if you want to get this technical. If not, we can continue on, or if you want to just give a quick answer. The same person, Mango on Twitch, asked, how is latency handled, i.e. is it delay based or rollback?
Yeah, I'm not going to go into that kind of detail.
Okay, yeah, no sweat. I thought that might be a little too much.
Yeah, the best thing would be to just try the different servers and see for yourself. I think the latency compensation is really good.
Yeah, and I will say, Mango, the times that I've played, and great, I'm glad to hear you'll try it out. Hopefully you can try it out with us here in a bit. I didn't feel any issues there whatsoever, right? I mean, none whatsoever, right? So we talked a little bit about, I mentioned a couple times where, that we're pre-Kickstarter, pre-alpha, those kind of stuff. Do you want to tell us a little bit about kind of where we are, where we're going to go? And guys, the plan here is to do a little bit of intro, talk about, just kind of make sure everybody understands what we're talking about. Then we're going to jump in and play a bit, chat a little bit while we fly around. It's a little hard to dogfight. We're having this kind of conversation. And then we're going to ask everybody to join us. So it won't be too long before we get to actual gameplay. So just bear with us for a sec here. But yeah, you want to talk about the current state and stuff?
Yeah, I will. And Exigeous, I'll say, if you want to join a server, I can.
That'd be great.
As long as we don't attack the bots, they won't attack
perfect.
you back.
Perfect.
So you can have some of them fighting in the background. So join the New York server.
So let me go back, multiplayer, and New York. There we go, and join.
Okay, I'm going to join too.
There we go. All right, let me turn it down a bit, guys, just so I'm not yelling over it. Okay, yeah, there we go.
Okay.
And turning off the menu in the bottom right, remind me, does that just go away after a sec?
It'll go away on its own after a while, but you mapped it to a hat switch. It's the left menu.
That's right.
It's probably one of your hat switches to the left.
There it is. I found it. Just take me a minute to remember where everything is, right? So this is it, guys. And for me right now, I mean, it is super fluid. It is super smooth. Is there any kind? Can I turn on the frame rate counter of any kind?
Yes. Yep. If you bring up that side menu, there's a built-in performance monitor towards the bottom of the menu.
Hold on, I got to turn off. I've got voice meter running my macros. Hold on, let me do that. All right, there we go. I was like, why is it doing that? Where did I put that? There we go. There we go. Okay, so where'd you say it was?
So open up the HUD menu.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there it is.
There's the performance monitor.
I see it now.
And you can see the connection quality.
Yeah. And so, guys, you'll see it's at 119. It's a 120 hertz monitor, so it's obviously just hitting that 120 hertz cap. As you can see on screen too, it is a 2080 Ti, so it's a pretty beefy machine. But yeah, it is butter smooth. I mean, it's great. So what you're seeing right now is definitely what I'm experiencing. Of course, I can't find any of the ships. There we go. There's Star Step, I see. Okay, so yeah, so let's now, I'll just kind of fly around a bit. Again, why don't you tell us a little bit about where you are, where you hope to go?
Okay, yeah, so right now the game is in open alpha that anybody can join by signing up on the website. We're preparing for our first crowdfunding campaign. Right now I do have a Patreon, but that Patreon's about $200 a month. It's a small Patreon. But other than that, we haven't done any crowdfunding, and we're preparing for crowdfunding. The current idea is to get ready for that crowdfunding by the end of this month, development-wise, and then in next month begin sort of the preparations, because you have to prepare for the crowdfunding before you do it. Then do the crowdfunding. The main areas that we're currently working on for the crowdfunding campaign is the art, and also on the engineering side, I'm working on some of the back-end work to support open persistent worlds, and also you'll see there's some capital ships in this game. Support for bringing those capital ships to life so they can move, so they can be destroyed, so that the worlds are more dynamic. So those are the two main areas I'm working on engineering-wise. Basically, setting down the foundation for the game going forward, because I don't want to do a crowdfunding campaign without having validated that everything is technically possible and it's not going to take a ridiculous amount of time. So I'm trying to, so the development of Hunternet has very much been about building a very strong foundation to build a bigger game. Not a huge game, obviously, because, even if the company is able to grow, if I'm able to hire some people to work with me, I don't expect to get bigger than, a 10-person studio. Okay,
yeah, so the goal is to always keep it small then, is that right?
Yes, because I think there's certain key values about keeping it small that, that once you get bigger, you just can't function the same way.
Yeah, look, again, great example. Again, we talked about Frontier and the size of their development team, and then you look at a company like Hello Games, right, which has purported to have roughly 10, somewhere in that range. I mean, I'm sure they've got more in the entire company, but if they're really at that size, I mean, it's amazing what they've done with No Man's Sky anyway, let alone to have potentially done it with just 10 people. Right.
I totally agree.
Yeah. So I think having a small, nimble development team like that, that can react quickly to things. I think that's a great approach. Right. And there was a quick question about VR support. Do you want to talk about that real quick?
Yeah. If you hold down the Alt button by default on your mouse and look around, you should be able to get the free look, and you should see that in this build we added the pilot, and this pilot is VR ready. So the goal is to add VR support.
Okay, that's actually new to me, guys. I don't think I even knew that yet. I was expecting you to say no. That's all right. That's great.
Yeah, and you were saying earlier, like, about the flight model, how that's a challenging part, and that's true. I would say that some of the challenging parts about making space games is probably the hardest thing is if it's a multiplayer game, is the multiplayer.
Sure.
And it's no surprise that that's the area that most space games tend to struggle in, since it's difficult for games in general. But if you're doing an ambitious game where, you can host multiple, big locations, and space is just big, right? And you want lots of objects, and that can be really challenging. So that's very challenging. The other one is the flight model and the combat model, and just sort of the core design of the game is, it can be easy to get it wrong if you're not familiar, if you don't spend your time tuning things.
Sure.
And then the last, I think, is the visuals is really important. Getting the visuals to look good, to make it feel like space, but so those are the main areas we've been focusing on until now.
Sure.
For that reason.
So I'm actually thrilled to hear that I guess I didn't ask you that because I'm surprised I didn't know that. But yeah, that's great. That's even more good news. And in fact, one of the things when we talk about the flight model, just as I'm flying around here, guys, you'll see that there is not in the same way that we think about it in Elite, but there is a flight assist off. So you see right now, you can't see my hands, but I'm hands-free off the sticks, right, because I'm in flight assist off, floating. If I turn flight assist back on, you'll see I'll come to a stop. The thing that, and I remember, Fernando, you said you had a couple different modes for this, that obviously based on what space flight sim you're used to, you're going to enjoy more. It's not, I wouldn't call it an Elite mode, as you guys see right now. If I'm going in one direction, like I'm drifting, if I add some roll and now I let go of the stick, that roll stops. So it's kind of a more momentum based flight assist off. Is that what you would call it?
I would say the flight assist off only turns off translational. So strafing forward, back, up and down. The rotation keeps the flight assist that it normally has. Okay. Now in the past, we actually did test full flight assist offs, just like the one in Elite, where if you roll, you have to counter the roll. If you pitch, you have to counter the pitch.
Yep.
And that still exists in the game in one small sense. If you crash into any obstacle with flight assist off, any additional spin or rotation that the crash adds to your ship, you have to manually counter that to get your ship flying straight again if you don't turn on flight assist. But we tested that, and I ended up disabling it. The code for supporting that is still in the game. Okay. But I disabled it because I didn't feel like it was a good fit for the current faction's flight model.
Okay.
I am interested in maybe including it when we add larger craft, because I think it would be particularly useful for larger ships, or when we add some of the additional factions that are coming to the game. Because I don't just want to add a mechanic from another game without feeling like it's like, well, a good fit for what I'm trying to do in this game or in this particular flight model.
Sure. And, one of those things in the flight model, as you guys just saw, I just G-locked, right? So I just lost consciousness, need a gravity lock, right? So rather than managing pips, so there's not energy management, like, again, for those that aren't Elite players, I'm going to be talking a lot of Elite jargon. Obviously, I assume most of you guys are. There's not pip management in that sense. There is boost management, right? There's a couple different boost modes. We'll talk about those maybe in a bit. But there is this blackout management, right? And it's really interesting, like I'm trying to do it right now, but once you get into the combat and you're fighting pretty intensely, you wind up having to manage that blackout. I'm trying to make myself blackout again right now, right? But I found that very interesting, and red out as well, right? And yeah, I Rui, are you enjoying that?
I was I think everyone that played, I was frustrated at first, but once I actually got into it, I realized it's a lot more fun than it seems at first.
Yeah, because at first it's a lot like, God damn it, why is my screen going black? Come on, where's my, I can't, right? And then you're like, but it gives you, again, it's that different thing that we all have to manage, right? Like, pips or anything else, power that we might have in Elite. And it's a more real-time management. Anything you'd add there, Fernando?
Yeah, I would say that the game does have energy management. It's just the energy management is not pip based. So in Elite, and in Hunternet, when we say pips, we normally mean predicted impact points, lead indicators. But in Elite, you can change your energy distribution between your shields, your engines, and your weapons, right? If I remember correctly.
That's right. Systems, engines, and weapons. But yes.
Engines and weapons. Okay, so and then like Star Wars has a similar system, going back to the original X-Wing games, and I think that's a very fine system. With Hunternet, what I did instead is you do want to balance your energy between those exact same three systems, your shields, your engines, and your weapons. But instead of managing it by adjusting, pip amounts, you manage it by which actions you decide to take or not take, because all three of those systems draw from the same pool of energy. And that pool of energy is displayed on your ship as your shield display on the left there. So you basically have one capacitor that keeps all the energy that your ship has held in reserve. That energy is then used to power your shields whenever you take damage. It's also used to power your thrusters if you're boosting or if you're power burning, because that requires more energy. And it also is used to power your weapons. So every time you fire, every time you use power burn, you use that energy. And every time your shields get hurt, you use that energy. So then it's up to you as a player to sort of decide when to, hold back on the power burn, hold back on the firing, because I want to put more energy, leave more of that energy available for your shields, for example.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about that more. And Rui, if you can find me, I want you to shoot me a couple times. So you're going to see, guys, in the bottom left where I've got the power capacitor. It looks like a big battery, right? If I hit kind of the standard boost, right? Like there's my standard boost. Or I can go to, what were you calling it? Like full boost? What's
power burn?
Power burn. There you go. Right. If I go power burn, you see that entire capacitor empties. Rui, I'm just going to hold still for a sec. And if you see to the right, you'll see the green is my shields and the red is my hull. And what I found kind of interesting about this is if I'm remembering right, your maximum shield decreases over time. Why don't you explain that for us, Fernando?
Yeah, so your shields can go up to 100%, but whenever you take hull damage, like you've lost about half your hull.
Yep.
Now your shields can only go up to 50% capacity. So that means your energy reserves are half as much as they were before. Which is obviously going to make it more challenging for you. But the key thing to understand about the shields is that the shield's effectiveness, they never protect your hull 100%. So you don't have to bust through somebody's shields in order to get to their hull. All the shields do is they decrease the amount of energy the amount of damage that makes it to your hull. And that decrease is the same if your shields were at 100 or at 50 when you took damage. The only time you take more damage than that is if your shields were so close to zero that they actually ran out of energy, and then that would cause you to take additional hull damage.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It does. And I think what's interesting about that is, that I'm going to keep putting this back to elite because that's what terms I'm thinking in, right? I think at the times, you fight somebody in a big giant shield tank, it takes forever. You finally crack them, you maybe do a little bit of damage to their hull, and then the shields come back up, right? And it's just this super long slog because of that. The idea that with this, that essentially you're it doesn't matter. When you're taking damage or fire, you're taking fire in a much more realistic way, to me, seems much more interesting, right? And this is, again, guys, remember, this is also, right now, at least these modes of it are think of them more like CQC, right? Currently, not the whole plan for the game, right? But right now, so we're in much faster paced combat. We're going to be dying pretty quickly, just like any, very quick, paced combat and respawns and things like that, right? So I think for this sort of gameplay, certainly this is a great way to do it. Right, I really enjoyed it the time I played it, and so let's see, I'm looking through the list that you had seen.
Yeah, Exigeous, I just want to say that you got it exactly right. What I explained was how the mechanics work. What you just explained is the design intent for those mechanics.
Yeah, there you go. Okay,
it's about making sure that the fights come to an end; they don't go on forever. That's one of the big reasons why it's the way it is.
And that's a good explanation for the G-lock mechanic, where you're experiencing the G's, and what that does is that forces people to not just strafe in the same direction super far out of people's basically out of people's line of how far they're able to lead their target and hit them. It forces fights to be a little bit closer together, and all of these things are designed for a reason. They affect the gameplay.
Yeah, and again, because the gameplay of right now, currently anyway, is again this very fast-paced, run and gun CQC like gameplay, right? And I think, a lot of, I remember you telling me at one point, Fernando, that you almost wanted this to feel, if I'm remembering right, like a World War II fighter kind of scenario. Is that fair?
Yes, definitely the case. So I would say a good way to describe, the combat is that it's inspired by early World War II, not even late World War II, early World War II, World War I, and also, Star Wars, was directly inspired by World War II, right? So a lot of the way Star Wars looks in the movie, especially the originals, is based on that. Also, I'm a big fan of Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's definitely a lot of inspiration there still from World War II. The way those Vipers don't behave like F-22s in many ways.
That's right. Yeah.
So it's a strong emphasis on that close quarter, man over machine kind of gameplay.
Let's talk.
For example, if you set it, I was going to say, if you set it to a higher difficulty, Fernando, if you set it to a higher difficulty, you'll see some of those design philosophy decisions come into place, where you no longer have a lead reticle, you no longer have HUD symbology and stuff like that. It's you're very much you're the pilot and you're trying to do all these things yourself, not relying on the ship's computers, which is interesting. I don't think anyone's really done that for a space game.
Yeah.
Thanks, Rui. You got that exactly right. And I just switched it to ace difficulty. So if you notice your HUD, you still have your radar, you have your displays, but the HUD is basically all gone except for your current target.
Yeah, I was trying to find, and in fact, I'm trying to find. There we go. My current targets.
You need to develop a rubber neck, and that's why one of the reasons I really want to get VR into the game, because imagine, VR is not only going to be cool, but it's going to make a huge difference. The game has virtual head tracking, and it supports track IR, but imagine playing it in VR and looking at your target.
Yeah, and as you guys see how the target just, and that's, I'll admit, I'm not sure how much I love it. I think it's one of those things you got to get used to, the head tracking, but as you guys see, like right now, like I've got no reticle, no following. It is just literally I've got a crosshair and have to anticipate, right? And it's a lot more challenging like this.
Yeah. And if you don't want to play the game like that, you obviously don't have to.
And now the crosshair's back on, or the reticle's back on, as you see, right?
I brought it back. Yep.
Yeah, that's great. Let's see, what was I going to go to? Why don't we... Oh, I know the two other things I wanted to cover real quick. Let me talk about one of the things that took me quite a bit of getting used to, which is the HUD and kind of the targeting scanner. You'll notice that, like, in the Elite world, we have the three-dimensional map, right? The targets literally go up, above, and below. And here, let me get closer to some targets so you guys can see. But you'll see we have these smaller triangle targets, right, that show our targets with an arrow pointing up or down, whether the target is above or below you. Of course, where the hell is anybody? There we go. There he is. And I'll admit, I'm not great at reading it. There we go, right? So if you see now the arrow is pointing forward, so it's up above me, and now the arrow is going to switch to pointing down, right? So similar to Elite's HUD, but a little different. Definitely takes because I'm used to Elite's HUD, obviously, taking a little bit of getting used to. Where'd the carrier?
I can explain a little bit about why it is the way it is.
Please. Yeah.
So the radar is it's take the Elite Vantage radar and then flatten it into 2D. So you don't have the lines going above and below. So the vertical dimension, like Exigeous was saying, is the symbol will point up. If it's above you, the triangle will point down. It's below you. And the other thing that changes is the size of the triangle will get bigger the closer they are to you vertically, and it'll get smaller the further away from you vertically. What that means is you have a very good sense of where things are relative to being in front, behind you, left, and right, and you have a general sense of where things are above or below you. So the idea being that you would just glance at that radar, and normally your target is the white triangle, right? You glance at that radar, if you lose sight of the white triangle, your current target, you would quickly look at the radar, okay, he's at my 6 o'clock low, and then you immediately go back to focusing on what's in front of you and turn to the back. So it's purposely kept not super precise. It's accurate, but not super precise, and that's by design. And the reason I flattened it is for two reasons. One is I didn't want the radar to look exactly the same as Elite's, because I think each game should have its own personality.
Sure.
And the other reason is because the 2D nature of it makes it easier to read at a quick glance. Once you understand how it works, obviously. Because I find sometimes if you have a line sticking out, there's 2 points. There's the symbol is above, and then where they are, if they're behind you or below you, is where the line intersects the plane. And that can be harder when you're blacking out and you're just trying to get a general idea of where they are. The other thing is the radar only goes out to 1.5 kilometers, so it's very short range.
Okay. And just quickly, the other thing I wanted to talk about was and actually, two questions I wanted to answer. Somebody asked again, in the future, will there be VR support? Yep, that is absolutely planned. And RM said, I hope it doesn't stay this gray. One of the things to point out, guys, is Fernando is, and I'm not trying to put him down, is not a graphic artist and stuff yet. He has done all this so far. So they have not, they're waiting till they get essentially,
there you go.
They go into early access and stuff like that, and they get a team together to bring the graphics and that kind of stuff up to par. You want to talk about that a little bit, Fernando? We touched on it a touch at the beginning.
Yeah. So the art is primarily done by Boxel. Some of those little pieces of art here and there are also licensed art, but Boxel is one of our players, and he's working on in his spare time volunteering for the project. If we have a good crowdfunding campaign, the idea is that then we can start contracting with artists like Boxel in particular, because I think he has a really amazing taste of design, and he's come up with sort of the visual language for this game that makes it look different than other space games. And then if the crowdfunding goes well, we'll grow the art team and the audio team and so forth, and increase the audio visual polish of the game.
Sure.
But yeah, the art style is sort of a high contrast look. So, but in this area, as you can tell, there's a lot more color than the other area.
Yeah, and by the way, I love the concept of space elevators. So very cool that this is a space elevator, right? That is what I'm seeing, right? Just to clarify.
It's a hydrogen mining station.
Oh, okay.
So those cables are going down into a gas giant.
Okay. So that's really cool.
Okay. Same kind of thing. So, okay, gotcha. And so I also wanted to talk, and I'm assuming, maybe Fernando, if you can see my screen, the little bay I'm going in right now is where I would outfit. I wanted to talk about the weapons and such a little bit.
Okay, yeah, I see. I'm flying above you. So that little cubby hole there.
Yep.
During at the top of your screen right now, it says refit break, so you can technically refit anywhere. But once combat starts, you normally can only refit in a deck or wherever your home base is, and on these maps it's in there.
Oh, it is in there. Okay.
Stop.
Gotcha. Yep. I was thinking maybe it was in the carrier up above me. Yeah, let me head back inside.
Back to this map since it's easier to
there we go.
to talk about. Yep.
There we go.
So, so that outer deck, that's where you land and come to complete stop to refit.
There we go.
Also, by default, I actually have it set so you can refit anywhere as long as you come to complete stop.
Okay.
It's just there to make it more newbie friendly. But yeah, normally in a competitive match, you would come to these decks to refit and also to repair your ship. So they're very important. But you're out in the open, so the enemy can shoot you. Sure. But that's why each of these capital ships is equipped with 86 anti-fighter turrets to help protect you. But I don't want you to feel safe. I want you to always feel on edge if you're in a war zone. Like just like in World War II, where you land, but some enemy fighter might strafe the landing strip.
Absolutely. Okay, so I'm landing. I'm in the menus, and by the way, again, another thing to point out, guys, the menus are both very simple and great at the same time. In fact, one of the things I wanted to point out really quickly, I think it's if I go under bindings or under input hardware or control systems. Control systems.
Input hardware is where you map your joysticks and stuff.
And so what's really, really cool about this, guys, is as you go in, like if I get a joystick axes here, right? If I was going to, let's say pitch was unbound right now, as soon as I bind it, immediately it starts working just right here in the menus, right? So there's no going in the menu. For those of us that might not know exactly where everything's supposed to be and what the settings would be, you can literally play with it in real time as you're going through the bindings. I found that very, very slick. So let's go back to the beginning, and we're going to where? Refit loadout, right?
Yep. Refit loadout.
Yeah, so why don't you talk us through a little bit of this?
Okay. Yeah. The one thing I would say about the input hardware is at the very top of that menu, it says your primary control. The default one is Hunternet Mouse VJoy. But for Elite Dangerous players, they probably will find the classic mouse VJoy more similar to what they're used to if they're using a mouse. And then, of course, joysticks are universal.
Gotcha.
That's a very important area to look at, even if you're using mouse and keyboard. And refit, of course, is probably the next most important, because I still get people who'll join and don't realize there's multiple ships or multiple weapons. But in the refit menu, you can switch between the currently available ships for the current faction. But yeah, go ahead, Exigeous.
Yeah, so there's the light, heavy, and bomber, right? And so far for me, I'll admit, guys, there's not a lot of diversity between them right now. They're all kind of small-ish class. I think the idea is, correct me if I'm wrong, Fernando, in the future, that there would be a lot more diversity in the ships. Is that fair to say?
The way I would put it is that all the ships currently in the game are Starfighter class ships. It's about 20 meters. They're not big ships, right? Elite has some very, very big ships. So they're meant to be like an X-wing, an A-wing, and a Y-wing, or P-51.
I gotcha.
A P-47 and a P-38. So
they're
not similar in class.
Sure. And just quickly, Fernando, I saw a question in chat. How long does it take to get the email for the alpha download? Been about 10 minutes since one of the guys since he registered hasn't seen it yet. Just curious. I think they should be getting them in pretty real time. Is that right?
Pretty close. It depends on how many people are signing up. My wife is in the living room going through them and sending out the keys. So make sure you join the Discord. That's an important part of the process. It's on there. because she usually DMs people the keys.
Okay, gotcha. So, guys, if we weren't doing that, if I didn't make that clear, if you type _Hunternet info in chat, it will give you all the social media links and the link to the Hunternet Discord. Unfortunately, it's like all of a sudden my mouse, like, is it Hunternet's got control of my, like, I lost my mouse cursor somehow. I don't know where the hell my mouse
Press
cursor.
escape.
Yeah.
There it is. Okay, it was just Hunternet locking it right there. We go. So let me put that in chat for everybody real quick. There we go.
And I think you also added a Hunternet command that takes you straight to the main page.
I did.
And the sign up form, asks you for your Discord ID and has a link to the Discord. So you just fill out that form and make sure you're on the Discord, and she should eventually get to you.
Perfect. And we'll certainly make sure here in somewhere around about 10 minutes or so that we start letting people join with us, right? We'll make sure that, that we're getting that as quickly as we can for everybody, basically, right? So, okay, so let's go back to weapons real quick since I'm sitting here. If I can hold still. Okay, so I'm going to say in the light fighter, not surprising, you guys know I love the Sidewinder, so I'm going to say as light as I can get. And then we've got 3 hard points. And if we look, so Fernando's ship's right in front of me. You can look, little movements, X, little movements. You can kind of see the 3 hard points. Am I right that it's the one on the left, the one on the right, and the 2 centers? Is that the way to look at it?
Actually, there's 2 pods on the outer edges that have 3 nozzles.
Oh, okay. Those 3, each of the 3 is the separate hard point. Okay.
Yeah, that's how it is.
Gotcha. And so we've got, why don't you tell us about them, right? We've got the flat cannon.
Okay, so basically you have 3 hard points, and on those 3 hard points you can equip. I think there's 14 different weapons and equipment.
Okay.
And the weapons are organized on that list from the fastest projectile velocity to the slowest projectile velocity, starting with the flat cannon, then the Gatling gun, Vulcan cannon, heavy cannon, plasma cannon, repair tool, dumb rockets with proximity sensors, and then you have the 2 homing weapons, the short-range homing missiles and the long-range homing missiles. So you can tell from that list there's 2 homing weapons, and the rest are all variations of fixed weapons, because the game is very much primarily focused on, like World War II, fixed weapons. Missiles are secondary, meant to be a tool you use side by side your fixed weapons rather than a replacement for those fixed weapons.
Okay.
And then the rest of the hard points are sort of utilities, things that can make your shields a little bit, your hull a little bit stronger, your energy management a little bit easier, your boost a little bit faster, give your pilot a better way of dealing with G-forces, that sort of thing. And silent running, that's a really important one I think elite players
for the silent running, is that something you turn on and use, or is it just on like the others, like the other kind of utilities?
So it's about to change, probably in a week or so.
Okay.
I didn't change it earlier because I was 100% focused on the visuals. But currently, the way silent running works today is it's just based on your thrust level. As long as you keep your thrust level low, you're silent running, and you can equip enhanced silent running to let you use a little bit more thrust while staying undetected.
Yeah, okay, I got you.
Staying silent. But the new design around silent running is actually going to change that, turn that completely around, where the only way to silent run is to equip silent running in one of your 3 hard points, and then you have to actively engage silent running and turn it on, at which point your system will begin to build that heat up internally. But you don't lose your maneuverability. You still have your full maneuverability, except the more aggressive you are with your thrusters and your boost or firing, the quicker that heat will build up, so you'll have to get out of silent running before overheating and starting to take damage. Because there is an overheat system already in the game, and that will tie into that.
Yeah, okay.
A little bit more like we're used to. That makes sense.
Yeah,
I think it's a more elegant design, so that's why I want to change it.
Okay, great. I tell you what, with that, what do you think, Fernando? I'm thinking.
Do you want to show that the 4 pillars image?
Oh yeah, okay. So yes.
That'd be a good last thing to cover, maybe.
Let's do that. Let me bring that up real quick. Give me a second here. Oh, where did I have that? There we go. Okay, yep, there you go. It's up.
So this is a design that actually one of my players put together after several conversations that we had on Discord. And it's sort of a good, none of this is set in stone or anything, but is sort of a good diagram showing the direction, the general direction we want to take the game in going forward. Because a lot of people join the game and they think, okay, this is just Arena Commander, this is just close quarter combat from Elite Dangerous. But I really want to move the game forward and broaden the kinds of gameplay that's in the game and the kinds of ships that are in the game and so forth. And we broke this up into 4 core pillars. And the first one is we want to have multiple unique systems. As you saw in the stream, like I switched between different locations, but we all switch to that location. In the future, you'll be able to use faster than light travel to travel between those locations, and different players could be existing in different locations. So the world becomes a real world rather than just another map to battle around.
Yeah, sure.
Right? And the focus there is we're going to be primarily focused on making sure each system that we add to the game is unique and handcrafted. I'm not closing the door for procedural generation in the future, because we've definitely talked about hybrid approaches where you have a core set of handcrafted systems and then you have procedural and hybrid procedural systems that could eventually come in. But we're a small team, or very small right now, only me working on it full time. You design the unique systems first, and then you use that later down the road if you get the resources to drive any procedural systems after having gone through that experience of handcrafting them. And then the faction warfare means that we want to have at least 2 factions. The current faction is United Colonies of Sol, and the second faction we have in mind, and there will be more factions if things go well after that, is the Earth Alliance. It's sort of the classic, the home planet versus the colonies factional warfare. That's so that in this system combat, you have a war going on, and there's a reason to control the systems and whatever resources are in those systems. And that ties into the systems economy, where there'll be some sort of economy. Now, I'll start out, just like with Hunternet, I always try to do everything the simplest possible thing that will work first before making things too complicated. So the initial system economy might only be 1 resource to begin with, but we want to have an economy so we can test how the combat ties into that economy, how it ties into the control of the systems, and how we can make that a living economy with the NPC ships being a big part of that. And then the last part, and this is sort of the third faction, is that we want to introduce the element of a faction that's out of your control. And then this is actually pretty similarly in terms, you guys have the Thargoids, it's very classical, like, an enemy threat outside of the normal systems, like the Free Space had theirs. But yeah, something similar to that, where there's some sort of external threat. And the cool thing about having an external threat is I want to tie it into the other 3 systems. So if you're having a faction warfare, maybe how that battle is going might lead to that external threat coming in, and you might even cause the 2 factions to temporarily, call a truce and come together to fight that external threat. But the idea is to move Hunternet in this direction and make it a real world. And one thing that's not on here is if you have an economy, that means mining. And currently there's no mining in the game, but I have some really interesting ideas about how we might do mining in Hunternet.
Great. And it is Unreal. It's Unity, right? It's built in
Yes.
Unity. I just said that question real quick. Yeah. And one of the most important questions so far is where they got to scroll up to find it again because I thought it was funny. Hold on, where is it? Okay, I've seen enough. Where do I send you the check? When do you plan to getting on Steam? So why don't you talk a little bit about? I've kind of alluded, and I think maybe you've asked a little bit that you're looking to go to Kickstarter, then early access, kind of then launch. Is that kind of right?
Yeah, so the current plan is we're going to keep working on this alpha build for the rest of this month, polishing it up, adding more visuals and a few more other changes. Then after that, we're going to focus on preparing for a crowdfunding campaign. It might be Kickstarter, it might be Indiegogo. That's not set in stone yet. Once that preparation is done, which might take a month. That's usually how long it takes. It could take less, but let's say June, July, and August, we should be ready for a crowdfunding campaign. The crowdfunding campaign, people will be able to play the alpha version for free, but you'll also be able to basically, if you fund the crowdfunding campaign, that means you can continue to play the game after the crowdfunding campaign ends. And then we'll be doing a time period before going into Steam Early Access, where we'll be using those resources we picked up during the crowdfunding campaign to get the game ready for Steam Early Access. And I'm thinking Steam Early Access will probably come a few months after the crowdfunding campaign. There is a Steam page already up, but it has the old art and the old description, so that's going to change. But if you follow the game there, it's a good way to make sure you don't miss the Steam Early Access launch.
And that, by the way, that's funny. I didn't even realize I still had you targeted, and I just hit you with those missiles, didn't I?
I heard them coming. I was wondering where they're coming from.
I was just firing blind and forgot I'd had you locked. Right? I've always been a big fan. I even love missiles in Elite. They're unfortunately not really effective, but I do enjoy them. So okay. Tell you what. Why don't we start letting folks join us?
Opening up. Okay, give me a moment. I'm gonna push the build.
Okay.
And I'm gonna talk to my wife to make sure that she's doing all right.
Great.
And then they should be able to download it in just a moment.
That's great.
Maybe you and Rui can have Rui knows a lot about the game, so does Starstep, because Rui's a new player, but he's been playing quite a bit. So
I think Rui's got more time in it than I do at this point. So
can step in if they have any questions, and I'll get that build going. I'll be back in just a few moments.
That's great. Take your time. So again, guys, just to clarify, if you'd like to come join us, it's about a 900 meg download, completely free. You are welcome to come join us. We would love it if you would come join us. The current that we've had so far, he's had 26 players live. It'd be really great if we could beat that, or get close at least. So if you're around and want to come join us, again, very quick install, very quick to go through. One of the things that you'll notice that's pretty different is the way the menu system works. You're going to be pressing like right arrow and left arrow to bring up and close the menu. And then like when I was on refit to actually select something, like let's say I want to do the plasma cannon, you click right on it again, and I just heard the sound lock it, and now I go back and I've got the plasma cannon, right? So a little different than other games, but that's how those menus work, right? So, get your inputs set up and come join us, man.
You got people asking about, is there pack outs? Why don't you outfit a bomber with 3 short-range missiles?
I will. Hold on. So I've got short-range missiles on this right now. Let me target you, Rui. I don't think. Okay, there. I'll fire it. Star Step. It's for some reason it's only letting me target.
I'm coming over to you. I'm coming over to you. You're like 4,000 meters away.
Maybe you're. Oh, okay. That must be why. You're just too far away. Come on, lock on.
So you got one.
There it goes.
One short-range missile.
I do. So if you guys watch, and I'm actually just I'll fire it this direction. Oh, why didn't I guess maybe I wasn't. Oh, I swatched them. Hold on. I changed out the missiles. Hold on. Let me put it back. I forgot I put the plasma cannon on. So long range homing. There we go. Okay, there we go. So not pack hounds.
Oh no. Well, watch this.
Oh, you got 3. Nice. And as you guys see, I can outrun them and I can shoot them down.
And you get a hit confirm sound when you shoot them down, so you know if you shot them down or not.
And they were pretty effective because Rui just smoked me.
Honestly, there's ways to counter all the missiles in the game, so it's not just like free win button by any means.
That's right. And in fact, I'm going to do what you just did, Rui. And there's a question real quick I wanted to answer real quick in Twitch. Any plans on having a vector ship direction indicator? Well, right now there's actually a number of different ways you can do the reticle. You can do actually, Fernando, let me answer that. Let you answer that in case I get that wrong. You want to talk about the different? We touched on it a little bit earlier already, but you want to talk about that real briefly?
So in terms of I assume they're being like a prograde indicator showing like your drift direction.
Well, I think they're.
Is that what they're asking about, or thinking about aiming?
With targeting, I think that's where they're going is targeting. Correct me if I'm wrong, Dark Space Sec or Leonard, if I'm getting that wrong, but I think maybe he's talking about targeting and the reticle.
Wait. Oh, sorry. What was the question?
That you can have the leading, that you can see the leading reticle following the reticle, no reticle.
Okay, Okay, I'll go into that. There's currently. So you're in the HUD menu, right above the input hardware menu, there's a very important menu. So refit, right below the refit menu, control systems. That's where you can sort of tune your ship to your liking. Think of it like, you might be getting a sedan, but you want to decide, do you want to fly manual? You want to manual transmission, automatic transmission? Do you want cruise control on or off? So your ship's control systems, they change how your ship handles. And the first option there is your pip type. That's available only in the cadet difficulty, but that lets you switch between a lag pip. Pip is short for predicted impact point, or a lead pip. Lag pip is what real world fighter jets use, and with the lag pip, you put the pip reticle over your target, and then that means that you have a good firing solution. With the lead pip, the pip is coming, the pip reticle is projected in the direction the ship is flying, and you put your fixed gun reticle over that to aim at your target. And then you can set it off too and never use it. It's a useful way if you're going up against a new player and you're playing cadet. You might want to handicap yourself a little bit by switching to no pips whatsoever.
And you can do that server for the whole server as well as, just for yourself, right? Is that correct?
Exactly. Yeah. You can do difficulty servers for the entire server, or you can change the pip settings for yourself. And then in terms of targeting, there's different ways to target. The default way is the smart target, which is pretty useful. Normally it targets...
Sorry, hold on. Where the hell did all those... Oh, they just came from the carrier. Oh my God.
I was firing too.
Oh, okay.
That was probably about like 150 missiles on screen.
Oh, that was insane. Right? Sorry, yeah. I didn't mean to interrupt you, Fernando, but I just had to acknowledge that was crazy.
Yeah. Rui, have you played Missile Circus?
I have not yet.
Yeah. So yeah, missiles is a very important thing to get right in space games, in my opinion, if you're going to have them. And one of the cool tools that I added to help us get them right is in the HUD menu. In the same place you change your difficulty settings, you can change mission parameters, and one of that is Missile Circus. And what that does is it forces all the AI to only equip short-range homing missiles. So It's a great way to see what would happen if everybody's using nothing but missiles, and it's a good way to practice your missile evasion when you're on a server by yourself and you just want to see how it is. And also it's a great way to do performance testing. But we got the first new player joining. He's a veteran.
Okay, great.
The patch is on itch.io.
All right, come join us, guys.
Time to outfit.
Anybody who's got a key, you should be able to get the patch now and play.
And one of the things I was just showing that's interesting is that to keep your missile tracking, you have to keep the targeting circle around the target. Am I remembering that right?
Yeah, so with the LRMs, you have to keep it inside the targeting cone. With the SRMs, keeping them inside the targeting cone increases their turn rate. They will still be able to turn a little bit. It's just much worse if they're outside of it. And with the short-range missiles, you also have to be within radar range of your target. That's why they're short range, within 1.5 kilometers. With long-range missiles, their effective range is around 6 kilometers. But they're really bad up close because they need a lot of spool of time to get into, higher speeds.
Yeah, and I'm showing that right now to everybody. Like if I get this, it's not an octagon, but I get the lined circle, right? When it's not tracking perfectly, right? And if I keep the round circle on the target, as you said, it's giving me that better turn radius, better odds of actually hitting the target.
Yeah, and you got someone in the chat asking what's the learning curve like. I would say it was really easy to make the switch from Elite to this game. I don't know about a new player, but I feel like on the cadet difficulty, very much easier to learn than Elite, simply because you don't have that rotational correction thing to worry about.
Well, you also don't have the complexity, and I don't mean this as a negative or anything. You don't have the complexity that you do in Elite in terms of, the power systems and all the modules and, and all that level of complexity on top of it, right? Again, this is much more like CQC, right? So I would say it's a similar learning curve to CQC in a way, right? You're going to jump in if you're used to piloting, if you're used to flying, especially if you're, if you're a HOTAS pilot or a joystick pilot, even keyboard and mouse, whatever you're used to. If you're used to that sort of gameplay, I think you're going to pick up very quickly.
Yeah, and then for the people that do like those bigger learning curves, there's the higher difficulties without the lead reticle and without your HUD symbology and stuff, and so you're kind of just relying on yourself to learn those things, like basically being able to judge momentum and decide where you need to lead your target by yourself, which is very interesting.
Yeah.
I try to design the game to be easy to pick up but difficult to master. I mean, that's it's a cliched saying.
No, but it's totally true. The best games are easy to learn and hard to master. And, that was one of the complaints that I made with a lot of what we got in Elite and Odyssey, right? A lot of it's hard to learn at first and then easy to master. You do it once or twice. I remember the first couple hours. Now, granted, when we had the very first alpha and we had, we knew nothing and there was nothing explaining anything. And we were all like, okay, how the hell? And there was a lot broken too, right? But it was like, how does this work? How do we do that? And we were just all, you get tossed into that deep end. Well, that starting experience, I don't think is that way at all.
Yeah, and I've actually have experience with. I used to live in Taiwan before the pandemic, and it's not an area where most people have ever played space games. In fact, most of them hadn't seen a PC joystick. They thought I was a hardware vendor when they saw me at the game expo, and I had complete noobs and never played any space game in the world before, playing each other in multiplayer live at that expo. And sure, they weren't the world's best pilot, but without me being able to even speak to them in their own native language, they were able to find each other, kill each other, and have a good time. And we were busy and packed, and they were just playing nonstop. Because yeah, it's true, like the advanced stuff takes a lot of time to get good. Learning how to never black out, how to lead your shots really well so you can hit the evasive players is challenging. But basic flying is pretty pick up and go, because just like in World War I, those early planes were not that complicated, right? They were not. They were just an engine with basic controls and some weapons strapped on it.
Yep. It's funny, when we were saying that before, I keep thinking of the scene in I don't know how many of you guys saw Wonder Woman 1984. It's terrible, by the way, sadly. But the scene where and I don't mean to spoil anything. You don't care. It's awful. But the scene where Rogers, or what's his name? Not Steve Rogers. Steve, the boyfriend guy, Chris Pine, and Wonder Woman are at the Smithsonian, and they steal a jet that's parked out back and fly it to Egypt. Well, first of all, why is there a jet full of fuel and ready to go sitting at the Smithsonian? That's stupid. And how the hell is Chris Pine, a World War I pilot, going to jump in a jet from the 80s and be able to pilot it, right? But when you say it, it just makes me think, because, again, the flight model is pretty straightforward. I mean, in terms of, you've got pitch, roll, and yaw, you've got thrusters, you've got, full 6 degree of freedom, you've got a trigger. In some ways, it just kind of hit me. It's almost like a super advanced version of Descent. It just made me feel like I just realized in a ways, right? Because if you guys all remember the old Descent game, right? One of the first, I don't know if it was the first 6 degree of freedom game, but one of them up there. How many people do we have in right now?
Let me see how many have. 1, 2, 3, 4, and do we 5, still have 6, bots 7, with us? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
14 so far? Awesome. All right, guys. Well, look at that. 14. Can you imagine getting 14 people in an instance in Elite without thinking about it? That this just happened. We didn't sit here and log in and out to main menu over and over again, right? Like, we didn't go to private group and solo or private group and open back and forth, right? We just logged in and here we are. The beauty of
I want the game not just be easy to play, but also easy to just
get in and play.
Easy to get in, easy to set up.
That's right.
And for those, is very important for me.
For those that might not have heard earlier, it is server based, right? So that's one of the reasons. Obviously, it's able to track so well. Oh, nice shooting, Kamikaze. Plasma. Okay, I got to try the plasma cannon.
Plasma cannon is pretty challenging weapon to use because it's one of the slowest projectile weapons in the game. So you really got to get in close, but it does a lot of damage. I was going to say that this is just like plasmas in Elite.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was going to say that the Hunternet, army is just like World War II. It's one of those armies where you could still potentially field it with recruits, and get them trained up in a reasonable amount of time. Whereas our modern army, you really need a professional army to fly those machines, right? World War II, those airplanes were meant for GIs to learn and get into combat quickly. And the UCS actually started out as a bunch of companies, and sometimes we joke that the UCS cockpit design is like what would happen if Apple decided to weaponize.
Right.
Whereas the new faction, the next faction coming up, is more your traditional, Earth Navy, and their UI design is going to be very much less elegant, but much more militaristic, and it's going to have its own unique avionics and flight model as well.
Yeah. Okay. And right now, do we still have bots with us, or do we just have humans at this point?
There's still some bots because the bots will start spawning. But what I'm going to do,
it's fine.
I'm going to turn on 100 bots, just so we can do a little stress test to see how the server.
Oh, that'd be great. That'd be great.
And you can see what a large battle looks like.
So again, guys, I want to keep making it clear. If you would like to come join us for free, it is a 900 meg download. So, you know, in the grand scheme of things, a rather small download. You just need to register in chat. If you type in !Hunternet, it'll give you the details to go to the site. You'll sign up on the site. Very quick little thing. Yes, he wants to get your email address so he can email you later. He's giving you a free game. Give him your email address. And then they'll send you the code to get going.
I probably have sent less than one email a year to that mailing list. So it'll be, you know, it's on Steam. There's a crowd, that kind of stuff.
I mean, hopefully you guys enjoy what you see today, and you want to, you know, you want those emails, right? By the way, I've seen a few more comments about VR. By the way, and I completely agree. I think most of regular viewers know that I'm a big fan of VR. So.
Boosters is about to get
dumpstered.
Him. Let's go.
I'm chasing him right now.
And the reason we support lots of players, one of the main reasons is basically I want to support battles that look like the battles in Battlestar Galactica or Star Wars. You know, full-fledged battles with two armies fighting it, not just small skirmishes.
Exactly what most of us want to.
A lot of bots have joined now. Let's see if all of them are in. Okay. We have over. You can tell somebody's a bot because the bot will be there's 80 bots so far.
Okay. Like that.
Boosters. You can really feel it now.
Boosters FLK Exigeous. It kind of looks like Boosters fucked Exigeous. Awesome. I love that.
And if the bots will have their name, instead of be a human name, it'll be BMR if it's a bomber, LGT if it's a light fighter.
Gotcha.
And HBY if it's a heavy fighter.
Holy crap. Yeah, I mean, and again, the performance right now. Let me bring up the I'm going to leave the performance monitor on screen for a sec, guys. Let's see if we ever drop below 120. Imagine getting 120 frames in Elite in the middle of combat like this with all the settings cranked up.
Yeah, and I'm on a mid-end system from 2 years ago, and it's 40 to 50. So even with 100 bots and
that's
all
great.
these players.
What GP are you running again, Rui?
It's like an RX 580, so nothing serious.
Yeah, but still, I mean, nothing terrible either.
Yeah.
Oh, Kamikaze must have gone AFK because I'm just killing him for no reason. He's just sitting here holding still. Sorry, Kamikaze.
I was thinking we should do, right now there's a refit break. That's why he's invulnerable.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay, I was like, man, boy, he is not dying.
I was gonna say that I just turned off the bots, and since we have two teams of humans, why don't we do a team match?
Oh, that sounds great.
And I'm gonna turn off enemy call signs so that you'll be able to see your allied names, but the enemy won't know which one is Exigeous, which one is Rui, which one is me.
So then are you saying all humans versus all bots? Is that
humans versus all humans?
Okay, all humans. Okay, great. That's even better.
So on your radar and on your heads-up display, you'll see a gold square. That's that'll lead you to your home capital ship.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Great.
Everybody fly to your home capital ship and stay on whatever team you're on.
Roger that.
Do we have even teams right now, or how do you check?
I'll check in a moment.
Yeah, is there a tab, or is there a leaderboard?
There are built-in stats, and at the end of the match, you'll get a little leaderboard showing.
Okay, but not yet during the match that I can bring up.
You can during if you bring up the scanner array, there's a button for it. I'm not sure where you have it mapped to. You can get.
Okay. Let's find that. So input hardware, joystick buttons, and what'd you say it was called?
It's a scanner array.
Oh, V shows you the player list. Okay.
Yeah, V is in Victor, and you can scroll through it, and you can see your allies' stats in terms of how many kills they've gotten, what their loadouts are.
No clue what button that is. Let's put it there then. Oops. Okay. Are we going? Oh, we're still on the refit brick. Okay.
Everybody this is our team over here.
Sweet.
We got a pretty good team here. And you'll notice that some of your allies will have M1, M2, M3, or M4.
Great Cyclops, nice. Yep. Mm-hmm.
it automatically assigns 4 players as your wingmen, and then you can have targeting buttons just for them.
Okay,
and you can reassign them as well. And then those guys will be visible further out. You're my wingman, so I'll keep an eye on you.
Gotcha. I see we've got chat. Yep.
As people join, the server will put them on the team that needs has their players.
Sure.
That's in game. Okay, that's cool.
Okay. Again, guys, I'm going to keep saying it. Please come join us. Okay, got another that said he just registered. Awesome. So yeah, isn't it a great time to be a space gamer?
Well, I don't know. I think in like maybe give it another 10, 15 years, Star Citizen release. Then
something like
then
that.
it'll be a good time to be a space gamer.
Something
but
like
now's
that.
a good time too.
Yeah. So we're gonna do regular assault, and then we can do or attrition, and then we can do a capital ship assault. So our goal here is simply to kill as many enemy as possible, but also deny them our kill. So definitely take time to go back and repair, because giving the enemy a kill is just as bad as getting a kill yourself, right? It's just as important as getting a kill yourself.
The repair module, is that something that happens automatically, or is that something I have to fire off?
The repair tool, you have to fire it to repair friends.
You do,
and you can't repair yourself. I don't recommend using it.
Okay.
It's because it's pretty challenging.
Gotcha.
It's best to fly back to repair, and be careful not to get too far into the front. They won't know who's who, though. So let's try to keep together and look for the enemy. Call out targets and call out your status.
Ooh, someone just died.
You can see who you killed after you killed them. Before you kill them, you don't know who they are, but the kill list in the upper right, we'll see that Sejuk killed Sophisticated Egg, and then Darkoid with the heavy cannon.
So when I'm seeing NME right now, that's a human. I just don't know who. Is that what we're saying?
Exactly. There are no bots. I turned off all the bots.
Gotcha.
If there were bots, you wouldn't be able to tell there was a bot either until you killed them.
We're flying the 6 booster. Nobody can stop me.
Hello und guten Tag, Exigeous.
Hi. Okay, so there we go. Okay. I'm getting a little too far from the action. And as you guys see, there's 2 types of boost, right? There's kind of the more like a light boost, or just a boost, and then what's the other one? What do you call the other one, Fernando?
Combat boost.
Power.
Yeah, there's boost and power burn.
Power burn.
Boost increases your acceleration in every direction, and power burn is getting shot at. Power burn only does it forward, but increases your max speed as well.
Yeah, gotcha.
And the boost uses some of your energy, but not enough to stop all your recharge. It just decreases your recharge on your shields. Power burn uses more energy than your reactor produces, which means it also drains your shields.
Okay.
You guys talking Star Citizen stuff right now?
No, we're streaming a new game called Hunternet Starfighter. Okay, so and by the way, guys, I don't mean to be faffing around as much as I am. There we go. I'm still having a hard time personally with the new HUD and finding my targets quickly. I actually think I've got something bound.
If you're looking for targets, press your target button, and it will target somebody in front of you or somebody nearby. And then you look for the white triangle on your radar. Get it to the front of your circle, and then look up and down depending which direction it's pointing.
Yep, I'm seeing it now.
If somebody attacks you from behind, you'll get a under attack warning. If you press the same target button, it'll target the person attacking you. So that one button should be enough.
Okay, gotcha. It's just getting used to it, basically.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to get out of dodge if you're under attack.
Yeah, I'm doing okay so far. There we go. So again, guys, if you'd like to come join us, get downloading.
Nice kill, easy 6-7, easy 8.
To get you.
And you can see our score at the top of the screen, Exigeous. Our team is up 18-11, 19-11.
Okay, I see that.
And we have a lot of the veterans joined early, so for the next round, we'll probably have some people switch sides.
And is teams totally random?
You can change teams during the break.
You can. Gotcha.
If you hear one of your wingmen is under attack, and you press the target button, it'll target that wingman, so you can go help him out.
Oh, okay.
the message is right above your radar. You'll hear a sound effect and you'll see the message on the radar. Quid, you're critical. You should head home and repair. Go land on the allied capital ship. Come to complete stop to repair. Whoa. You're almost dead.
And so a lot of times you guys are seeing how much at times I'm blacking out and having to manage that.
And in terms of G-force management, I should give you guys a quick tip, Exigeous. You can either counter the Gs by strafing in the opposite direction. Think if the blood is going to your head, push it back down to your heart. If it's going to your feet, push it back up to your heart. The other way to deal with the Gs is switch your primary direction of strafing. So if you're pulling a lot of Gs because you're accelerating to the right, then start accelerating up instead. The other thing you can do is drift, because while you're drifting, you're not changing velocity, you're not accelerating.
Sure.
And also, you can resist the Gs better when you're going straight forward. So power burning forward is also useful even if you're close to backing out.
Okay. And yep, I see in chat we've got a couple others more that have just registered. Awesome, guys. Code should be coming to you quickly. Make sure you, as Fernando say, make sure you get into the Discord. Where is everybody? There we go. All right, I see you, Star Step. I'm on my way over to you, buddy.
We're at 25. One more, and we'll hit the record.
Oh, okay, great. Come on, guys. Let's break the record for him. That'd be cool.
8 seconds left. 30 to 20. 30 to 21.
And it does, guys, it does support, you know, all kinds of joysticks and stuff. I'm flying dual stick right now, and it's great. Whoa, G-Lock, come on, give me my... Oh, come back to life, dead. Nice.
Kamikaze has a knack of finding you.
He does. That's multiple times he's killed me with the plasma.
I'm going to avenge you.
You got 2 seconds to do it.
Not long. Oh, there we go.
There we
go. Now you can see your in the right side of the screen. You'll see your stats and the 2 MVPs, which we had 2 MVPs with the same number of kills. Starstep and Maxi, 2 of my best pilots.
Nice. Okay.
Maxi beat me with the death.
Killed your last kill, huh?
Okay.
So why don't we do a capital ship assault?
Sure, that sounds great.
In this mode, the pilot kills aren't worth anything, except they're a good way to slow down the enemy team. The score is how many turrets are left on the enemy capital ship.
And so by turrets, you mean we shoot at these little silly things called heat relays, right? And then when we destroy the little heat relays, it just leaves, right? I mean, that's how it works, right? Sorry, I just couldn't help it.
Yeah.
But yes, please, back to the turrets.
So I recommend the flat cannon, the Gatling gun, and the Vulcan cannon are a very bad choice against turrets. You definitely want either heavy cannon, plasma cannon, or dumb rockets. They'll destroy them in much fewer hits. And reinforced hull might also be a good thing to equip. And my tip to everybody is hug the capital ships close and keep an eye on your energy. They're not easy. It'll be easier with this many people because they can't train all 86 guns on you, but yeah.
So when I get to... Oh, okay, I have to select myself to change my loadout. Oh, interesting. Okay. Refit. Is that right, Fernando, that I'm seeing when I go to the refit menu, I have to find myself first?
You go to refit menu, and then in there you can see your weapons. You don't need to find yourself. You're in the player menu. Go back.
Okay, so if I go to so all the way back at the beginning. Okay, and I go to refit. You see how I'm getting player names, and then if I select myself, I get refit. It's fine.
You map the same thing to
I don't think so.
To the same button.
I don't think so.
Try the arrow keys on your keyboard because that will also that's a good fallback.
I must have because my arrow keys are doing something different. Okay, fine. And what weapons did you say I want to use again?
I recommend plasma cannon.
Okay.
Plasma cannon double hull.
Plasma cannon double hull. Okay.
And you might try switching to a heavy fighter for this round.
You got it.
Just to make you a little tankier.
Oops.
What did we change?
There we go. I went to heavy, plasma cannon, and then 2 hulls.
And we should have some people switch to the other team because the teams are uneven. So why don't I'm going to call out some of my players to switch.
Okay.
Zopto, switch teams. Sparkle, if you hear me, switch teams.
Oh, that's a good idea, Dutch.
Ivan, switch teams.
Pow.
Okay, so there we go. So guys, people who are veterans, focus on taking out the capital ships. You know, and give room for the new players to get a chance. Okay.
In other words, don't kick the shit out of all the new folks. That's basically what you're getting at.
Basically, plus some of these players like Sparko took out a whole capital ship by himself without getting hit once, which is really hard.
And
let me tell you,
other capital ship straight across from this one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
it's straight across. There's some asteroids in the way, but there's
a
shortcut through those asteroid fields.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and start it.
Okay. Great. Again, guys, if you're registering, I see some more people downloading. Fantastic. If you're registering, as soon as you get your registrations in, Fernando's wife is taking care of that in the background. So just give her a few minutes. She's going to DM you those via Discord. So just be ready for that. Star Step, I'm on your 6.
All right.
And as we were saying earlier, guys, remember there's the 2 types of boost. So I'm using like essentially full boost right now. Of course, once I get to that speed, I can just FA off and let it float. And there's the other capital ship.
It's a good time to talk about mining, actually.
Oh, sure. Go right ahead, yeah.
Mining in Hunternet will feel somewhat similar to capital ship assault. My vision for mining is that it should be dangerous profession where many people lose their lives if they're not careful mining big, unstable rocks. So the idea is you'll be orbiting asteroids. You know, a simple mining job might just be going after an asteroid that's not moving or moving very slowly, but you could see how they could get more and more difficult with larger asteroids that are moving faster and rotating more chaotically or breaking up into little pieces and literally getting inside of it as it's moving around you. That's the sort of action, high skill mining that I want to implement in the game. At least for small miners. Later on, if we ever add bigger ships, that could be a different,
Are you a couple questions there. Are you planning any sort of solo private open kind of thing? Will there be any kind of offline, or are you seeing this strictly as a full, online multiplayer experience?
Right now, it's probably going to be a full online multiplayer experience.
Okay.
I do plan on giving you ways to play by yourself, but it'll probably be going into your own private instance.
Okay.
But at least initially, I'm focusing only basically one world, one persistent world, and all the content in there. So that means right now in the game, you have this close quarter combat style arena matches, right? When we get into an open world, if you want to play something similar to CQC, instead of that being a separate mode, you would go to some system. There'll probably be 2 of them, one for your faction, one for the enemy faction. Go to a station where people hold competitions, open up a comms channel to the station and request that you want to enter a tournament, and then you can see what tournaments are running, and then you would get into a private instance that is a battlefield designed for CQC style matches. But that's within the greater universe instead of being a separate mode. The same thing with campaigns or missions. You meet up in the world with your friends, and you might have some missions where they're instance, but it's all within the same one universe kind of setup.
Yeah. Okay. Boy, when all the turrets target you at once, it is serious, isn't it?
Yeah. And you have some allies taking some of the heat for you.
Yeah, I'm just going for the closest turret. Oh!
You got taken down by
just a little
human
bit. You are welcome, Artful. Artful said, "This is so cool. Thanks for bringing it to our attention." All right, guys, again, I'm trying to get this back up as quickly as I can. I think I might have it. I'm trying not to reboot. And I think I'm good. Here we go. Yep, I'm logging back in. Sorry about that, everybody. I hope most of you guys were able to stick with us. Oh, maybe not. Okay, yeah, there we go. Now it looks like I'm back to normal. Multiplayer. We're still on New York. Is that right?
Yep, New York.
Okay, there we go. Back in. Now, did that
switch it to other map? And
I was going to say, holy shit, is it really that fast to get into the instance? Because, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy. Like, again, I'm glad we're back. So, chat, if you guys can hear me, if everything's coming through again, if you would just shout out in chat real quick and let me know that everything is good there, I would really appreciate it. I think I got the volume messed up. Let me get the volume turned back up.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, this is weird. All of a sudden, I have literally no sound from the game. It's not even showing up in my mixing console. That's weird. I'm gonna restart one more time. Restart the game one more time. Give me just 1 second and see if that'll fix it. Okay. Really sorry about this, everybody. Gotta love it when in the middle of a stream your machine does this. Oh, I know.
Can other people still hear us on the stream?
Believe so. I haven't gotten a reply from chat yet. Okay, so on Twitch, yes, they're definitely hearing me. Let me pop out YouTube real quick and make sure they're good. Okay, yep, I got from 4 Englishes. Okay, great. Thank you, guys. Let me get everything set back up. For some reason, I'm not getting audio from the game.
Go to the audio settings and check the sliders. Maybe I don't.
No, what's weird is it's not even showing up like in my volume mixer, right? Like that. There's not even the. Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah, that's weird. There's still no. Let me just get back in. Yeah, I still have no audio. There's got to be something wrong on my end. Oh, I see. God, I know what it is. Hold on, guys. My default audio device got switched to my monitor. Kills me when Windows does this crap.
It's your monitor speakers.
Well, nothing comes through them, right? But that's what it was. So there we go. Should have game sound again. Let's confirm. Yeah, if you guys aren't hearing the game again, let me know. Wow, that sucked. So why don't you catch me up on where we are? We're obviously at the mining map.
Yep, we're at the abandoned mining station, and I switched it to free for all. You can see the current. We have about 30-person free for all going right now. I turned off the bot, so it's all humans. The top player is now Zopto, and because he's gotten the most, he has 10 points. But now he's worth 3 times more than a player who hasn't gotten any points. Oh, Sajuk has taken the lead. So in Bounty Hunt, basically, as you go up the leaderboard, you're worth more points per kill, and that sort of encourages you to go after the stronger players. I'm going to try turning on the enemy call sign so you can see everybody's name, and that way you can also decide. You can also, if you target some in the lower right, you can see their bounty, even if you can't see their names. But Exigeous, let me know if people are all trying to gang up on you, and I'll turn the enemy call
I mean, even if they are, that's fine, right? They're welcome to do that, right? That happens in lots of my streams. I'm used to that. So, no, please, have at me.
The other thing I would say is anybody who wants to take a break from fighting, above the mining station, there's a racetrack. You fly through those rings and also through the capital ship above, and it's a pretty fun way to take a break from the free-for-all.
I actually want to see that real quick. So describe for me again. I'm at the top above, like, the 4...
Oh, yeah, look up from the mining station. There's like this whole racetrack.
Stupid llama just wrecked me, so hold on. Okay, so again, I'm above the 4 kind of pillars in the center. Is that where we're talking about?
So you the station has the long cables going down, and then it has the 4 arms. If you look straight up, you'll see a capital ship up there.
Oh, I see it. Okay. Oh, and I see the rings. Okay.
Go to that capital ship and get into its deck, and that's where you can start the race.
Okay. Yeah,
I'll meet you there. Out. So anybody, if you're up in the racetrack area, please don't fire at people.
Oh, and one of the things I wanted to talk about before, we were talking about shields and stuff with energy management and boosting. One of the things to point out, guys, is, so again, you look at the left, I've got the energy capacitor. To the right, I've got my shield strength. Well, if I use something like I keep forgetting the name, afterburners, what do you call them again?
Power burn.
Power burn, right? You see that that's actually drawing energy from my shields, right? So the more you boost and the more you power burn and use that extra energy, you're actually, I like that, you're right? You're making yourself more vulnerable.
All about the trade-off.
Okay, so I want to start with this one to the right, or which ring do I start with? Fernando? Does it matter?
The capital ship.
Yeah.
Get in,
So,
get in.
okay, I'm down in the bay.
Okay. And then behind you, you'll see there's an entry into the inside of the capital ship.
Oh, I haven't seen
And
this
then
before.
once
Okay.
you're inside, turn right or left, and you'll see a ring, and that's the beginning of the track.
Okay. And does it actually time me right now?
Not
or
this
is it-
just came in today.
Yeah,
But yeah,
okay,
in the future,
okay.
there's going to be a little like lasers showing the course and giving you timing, and the stats will keep track of your best time and etc.
And if you bang into the ring, you spin.
Yeah,
like crazy.
using flight assist to slow down is very important. You're not going to be able to take all these turns at full blast.
Now I don't even know which way I was going. Not that way. It's got to be this way.
Oh, no wonder. I had my assist on. I was wondering why my ship was flying all funky.
Oh, that's not going to work. Missed that one.
For your first pass, I recommend just skipping them if you miss it.
Okay. I guess I'm thinking the typical, if you miss one, it resets, but if that logic's not in yet. Yeah, it seems like for this, you definitely want FA on, in a way, to slow yourself better.
I agree. It'd be a good place to use flight assist on and use flight assist off more sparingly. You can set flight assist, by the way, to either a toggle or a hold.
Oh,
So
thud, and I just killed myself. it was Exigeous with the large laws of physics. That's awesome. All right, let's go back to combat.
by the way, your ship also has a rear view camera and a forward scope.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
very
There's
useful in
the
combat.
there's the zoom, which I think is really slick. I totally forgotten about that. Yeah, I think that's
Duke is now has 29 score and has a bounty of 6 on his head.
Well,
So he's the guy to kill.
I'm on him right now. I could use a hand. Oh, he got me.
Well, rat you, I'm going for you, man.
I'm guessing this is not his first match.
I don't know. I think he's been practicing the last few days because he's new to me.
Oh, okay.
He came about the same time I did, and he's
Okay, nice.
I mean, he's just better than me by a long shot. I don't know. I want to see him against some of the top players that right now, because I want to see he's got some of those skills that work really well for this game.
Ooh.
I'm just running people over at this point. I'm fine.
Okay. See a few others that have joined. If there's anybody in chat that has registered and is maybe not gotten your code yet, you're still waiting. Just maybe shout out real quick. We'll see what we can do if you're waiting.
Oh, uh-oh. Quid out for revenge.
Hey, I think
No.
that was my first. I think that was my first kill, actually. Sorry, Calyx.
I just turned on another really interesting parameter. It's called repair on kill. It's really fun for free for alls. Now, if you get a kill, your ship will get repaired.
Oh, that's an interesting mechanic.
That helps deal with always being even if you're really good, you get close to death and somebody kills you, and you don't have a way out. But this way, if you're aggressive, you can keep yourself going. It's also kind of
nice
scary
step.
because even if two people are fighting, you think you're gonna third party them. If one of them kills their opponent, then they can turn around and get you, so that
Gotcha.
the tables can turn on you. It's a really nice dynamic.
Yeah, so I see Artful is waiting. Says he's happy to wait, but got one that's waiting at least. Oh, X is almost dead.
While you're waiting to respawn, you can also refit your ship.
Is there a place to go back and repair in this mode?
Yes. Two of the arms, A and B, have little small repair stations.
Oh, I see it now,
But
actually.
the best way to get a repair is to kill somebody. If you find
I was
somebody
just, yeah,
low
I was
on
just curious if there was if there was such a thing.
There will be 4 eventually, but I didn't have time to add them in today.
Oh. Oh. Can I kill myself? No. I like these tunnels that you have in the arms.
Oh yeah, they're really fun.
I feel like a launch tunnel, like I'm in a Viper in Battlestar, right?
Yeah.
Nice kill, Easy 8. Yeah, it's first pilot over 50 will win this match. You can set it to over 100, but it's currently set at over 50.
Okay. Okay.
Starstep is about to win, so don't let Starstep get a kill.
Okay, one more kill and Starstep wins, huh? Nice.
Yep.
All right, everybody fight. There he goes. He got it. He got it.
There you go.
Nicely done, Starstep.
Dang.
And then you can see the stats there. So he's not only a great designer, he's also a great pilot. And I think that's part of what's awesome about Hunternet. The people who are all helping me, they're all great pilots. They all really love the game, so they have a lot of insight into it, you know, when they work on things.
And so just quickly, you've got like, you know, $53 or $53 is the meaning behind that anything, or is that just kind of like, is that a currency thing that would come at some point, or just kind of the way it's showing?
Yeah, I'm currently using dollar because I think of, like, you know, bounties.
Yeah, okay.
You're earning bounties. How it will play out in the persistent world, you know, we'll probably at some point introduce open world bounties, and we'll probably let you play these sort of bounty hunts in sort of a CQC kind of competition system. And yeah, those bounties could have a more of a defined meaning in the future, but right now it's just to track the points for an individual match. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn off the enemy call signs real quick and turn on random. Well, I'll leave the call signs on. I'm going to turn on random ship. This will mean you have to actually learn what the different weapon configurations are.
Okay.
You can look at the refit menu to see what you have equipped. You can also see it in the left display. You'll see the ship type and then the 3 hard points right below the power display. Or you can just press your 3 hardpoint buttons to see what the heck fires. But it's a fun way for people to sort of be forced outside of their comfort zone.
Sure.
You'll get a new ship every time you get killed, or every time you get 5 kills.
Okay.
Okay. Here it goes.
Uh-oh. What am I in now?
By the way, Rui, did you die when you went down in the tunnel there, or did you survive that?
No. I survived that.
I couldn't tell. I saw an explosion. I thought it was just my missiles hitting the...
Oh, rammed turtle. Day ruined.
Oh, yeah. What the hell am I flying? I forgot. We changed. Oh, shit. I've obviously got just...
Right below your power display, you'll say BMR, LGT, or HV1.
I'm heavy. Looks like I've got missile, and I can't tell what the other 2 are. Their hull, maybe. But it looks like I'm using...
Seeing the refit menu is the easiest way to see it.
Sure. It feels like a dumbfire missile. Yeah, it's got to be. Shooting at me. Lots of people were shooting at me.
And keep an eye on that radar, especially the bottom half of the circle. If you see it, the radar turns completely red if there's at least one enemy in radar range. So if it goes from green to red, you know you have to worry. If it's green, then you know there's no enemies nearby.
So now it looks, now I've got a Vulcan cannon and a light fighter. That's a little better.
So if somebody has you targeted, you'll see white brackets around your speedometer.
Oh, interesting. Okay, that's very good to know as I look down and see that I've got brackets around it.
And if you put, line of sight matters with targeting, so if you put an obstacle between you and the person targeting you, after a few seconds, they'll break the target lock and they need to visually reacquire you.
Oh, okay. Oh. And see, like right now, guys, I'm very much having to manage I'm about to pass out. Oof. Oh, nice. Let's see. I got ace by slamming into him, and then stupid got me right after. Okay, so yeah, you know you're not targeted if you don't have brackets. I like that. That's a cool mechanic. Oh yeah, I keep forgetting it changes every time. Am I seeing that we just get a single hard point each time? Is that right? in this mode?
Everything randomizes.
Oh, okay, okay, gotcha. Is there damage fall off on the weapons?
No.
No, okay. And their range is 1,500 meters, is that right?
Around that much, but effective range is closer.
In a fight, are you?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, I was in a fight. Sorry. And then
you're good.
and my push to talk key is my head look key. So I lose
Oh,
track of
okay,
what-
gotcha.
But yeah, there's no damage fall off. You get everything is randomized every time. Weapons and ship type, all three.
And how are you playing, Fernando? Keyboard, mouse, HOTAS, joystick?
Right now, keyboard on my lap and mouse on my right hand. I think the game is very playable with pretty much any setup, but that's what I currently have. It's not really the ideal setup because this mouse sucks. But
Yeah, we were talking about that before stream. What is it? Just a Logitech productivity mouse?
yeah, it's some Chinese mouse. It's the R driver. It's the R driver.
Pretty good. The art, nice.
It's the $10 cheap mouse that I bought for that convention I was talking about at the beginning of the stream.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so, and can you tell who has you locked? Is it you, Rui?
You can't tell
Yeah.
their name. Nope.
Yeah, okay.
And the displays are going to be completely redone. This is the old UI inside of the new cockpit. In the new UI, it'll be a lot easier to see what weapons you have equipped. It's much more legible than the current one. And the whole, if somebody has you targeted, will be more obvious. Whereas the white brackets are not super obvious. Although, if you have somebody in front of you and you see white brackets around their name, that means you have them target locked. So that it won't switch targets if somebody else flies in front of your nose. So you can press the smart target button to switch between free targeting or target lock. When your targets don't have white brackets around their names, then it's free target, and it'll just switch between them intelligently.
Nice fight, Rui.
If you want to keep the target from changing, press the smart target button so
Okay.
that it won't switch to another target.
Yeah, okay.
That's also what activates the head tracking. And if you want to recenter your view, just press the smart target again.
Okay. Yeah, I think when
Good
I
job
engaged
killing
you,
her.
Rui, you were a bit weaker than I was.
Well, I had a long range missile.
Yeah.
I was like trying to figure.
Oh, is that all you had?
Changes
Oh,
your-
okay, gotcha.
You'll
I had to
she'll
get
get at
back
least
those,
one
like,
fixed
resetting.
weapon. It will try to make sure that you only get valid builds. Nothing that won't work.
Yeah, nothing that's just garbage, right?
I had a GAT too, but I had the keybinds were set to the same button, and so it was like resetting the fire rate every time I pulled the trigger.
Hey, Llama, I might not have shot you to death, but I killed you. We rammed into each other. So Easy 8 is winning this time, huh?
Ow, 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 ow.
So I'm noticing something. God, I keep forgetting the damn name of it. Afterburner is what I'm going to start calling it because I don't know. When
I
you're
should
using
rename it.
Afterburner, it's just in a straight line. Is that right? It doesn't add to your lateral and vertical thrusters, or is it just adding?
Power burn is forward only.
Okay,
Unlike-
gotcha.
Like boost.
Unlike boost. Okay, gotcha. Because I noticed I was like, wait a minute, why am I not going up and down? And then that was why.
Yeah, that is one thing is I can't see the reticle because of the background.
The
Maybe
white,
you
yes,
can turn
yes.
blue
At times,
back,
it's
but
really hard to see the reticle because of that.
it's like Sand 2 all over again.
Are there plans to have, things like HUD customization for colors and things like that?
Yes. If you go to cpudreams.com, you can see our theme editor that just went live.
I think that was the one I was showing earlier. Yeah, okay.
Oh shoot, I got two people on me.
Is there an optimal turn speed? Oh, nice, Kamikaze. I didn't even know you were shooting
No.
at me. There's not. Okay.
No,
Okay.
it's just like you would expect in
Yeah,
space.
okay. It's not like Elite where you've got to pull back to a certain...
Yeah, I forgot that you guys had that the sweet spot.
Yep, the 50 or 75% depending on Super Cruiser normal space.
managed to fly through the cables and into one of the arms and lose my pursuer. And I can tell they no longer have me targeted, and I'm repairing one of the 2 repair decks.
Okay, this time I've got a bomber with a, I don't think it's the flat cannon, but it's, or the Vulcan. Is there another cannon that's similar to the Vulcan?
Vulcan's it's got like an orangey color.
Okay, what would be another one that's...
The gold one is the Gatling gun. If it spins
okay, it's not the Gatling gun. This must be the Vulcan.
Is it blue? What's the color? It must be the Vulcan.
White.
It's orange.
It's white. Well, maybe that's orange. Yeah.
Does it have a high rate of fire or a low rate of fire?
Bang, 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 bang.
Yeah, that's the Vulcan.
That. Okay.
Yeah, that's the Vulcan. If it spins up, that's the Gat. If it looks like a shotgun, that's a flat cannon. If it's blue and looks like energy, that's the heavy plasma cannon. Yellow energy with higher rate of fire is regular plasma cannons, and then the green dumb rockets are the dumb rockets, and then there's the 2 homing missiles.
Gotcha.
And we didn't talk about the LRMs. They're like the complete opposite of the SRMs. You only get 1 every 15 seconds, so they have really long reload times.
Yep.
But they do tons of damage. If you're in a light fighter with no shields but 100% hull, a single LRM can blow you up.
Okay.
But of course, it can be avoided. Unlike the SRMs, they only make 1 pass at their target.
So if you miss, you've missed.
And you won't get another one for 15 seconds.
How long do the short-range missiles track for?
Around 7 seconds, I believe.
Oh, okay, that's it. Okay.
It feels like longer in the middle of the fight.
It does.
The capital ship ones do track longer. They have a slightly different variation, but they don't track quite as well to compensate.
Yeah, boy, when you get in the bright white clouds, it is hard to see the...
Yeah, it's like automatic veteran mode where you don't have...
Yeah.
Well, in World War One,
nice.
the sun blinding you was definitely part of the gameplay.
Are there thrust controls so that you can fly up while going? Yes, absolutely. So there's full 6 degrees for English, right? So I'm doing nothing but, well, getting my ass kicked right now, but nothing but thruster controls. So, I'm going down thruster, left, right, and you see that I'm redding out, or it was a second ago when I was going down super fast. So yes, it's full 6 degrees of freedom, just like you're used to in Elite. And I agree, like the G-lock mechanic at first is kind of obnoxious and takes a little bit to get used to, and it's frustrating. But I like it because it adds that additional challenge, right? Like right now, like it's just something else to manage, right? We're not like an Elite, I'm a big fan. I know Rui is, well, I assume he is. You can tell me if you're not Rui, of changing your pips constantly, right? If you're in combat, like if I'm in combat, especially if it's any sort of difficult combat, PvP, I am changing my pips every couple seconds.
Oh yeah, all the time.
Yeah, right. I mean, you're never leaving them alone. And so to not have that, but there we go. I'm about to black out again. Oh, but having to manage that, I think is pretty damn sweet.
I'm glad you say that. I mean, it's very common that new players say, "Oh, these G-forces, can you turn them off?" But I have never had, up till now, somebody who after 1 week or so doesn't like them.
Yeah, I mean, you'll definitely get that, I'm sure, from some, right? You're not going to please everybody. But I like it. Again, I like having the additional thing to manage, right? And it's that much more realistic, right? I mean, I would be pulling G's like this.
It helps you feel connected to your ship because you're sort of feeling what your pilot is feeling.
Absolutely. And thinking of this in VR with, actual real VR head look, right? Did you mention earlier any kind of time frame for that? Like, do you think something like VR comes during early access, post early access, pre-launch? Like, where do you see that coming in?
So up till now, I didn't do VR because I didn't have a computer fast enough to do VR. This game sort of has been built on like a shoestring budget. If you really think about it, my wife is the #1 investor. If it weren't for her, it wouldn't exist.
Gotcha.
Right? But the idea is I want to buy a VR headset soon, just so I can keep testing what the game looks like in VR to make sure we don't do anything that will make it harder to add full-blown VR support later. Make sure all the rendering works. And what I'll probably do is if I can get VR to just work, even if it's a poor VR implementation, I'll make that available to the testers.
Great.
But so I'm not afraid to put something out there that's not 100%. And I'm hoping it won't be that hard to get VR working. So I can't promise for sure, but I'm going to do my best to.
Well, I mean,
to
Unity
at least
has
start messing with it soon.
Yeah, I mean, Unity has native VR support. I mean, you know, so that
Exactly.
I wouldn't imagine to be that hard to add. I just totally did the douchebag when you're doing a free for all. Like JM Universe was shooting at Calyx, and Calyx was almost done. So it's like, screw it, let's kill Calyx. The good old gang it up. Boy, when you hit people with I must be with
the heavy cannon.
Yeah, the heavy cannon, man. I don't hit very often, but when you do, woo! It packs a punch.
Another kill right there.
Yeah, man. Wow. I was chasing JM.
Yeah,
forever.
the energy weapons, they're harder to hit, but they also lower the shields more quickly, and that's really important. Once those shields fail, man, they get a huge spike in their damage output.
And so there's a question about head tracking. Why don't you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, there's currently track IR. It works really well, and there's also virtual head tracking. So if you target lock your opponent and they get close, the pilot will try to keep them in view.
Yeah, I'm going to try to show that right now. So if I lock that target, didn't lock. Okay, JM Universe.
You have to have brackets for your name.
Yeah, why is it not? Okay, so
you need to be close enough.
There it is. So you see right now he's up above. You know, it's tracking him. I'll admit it's one of the things it's taking me some getting used to, and I don't love here at first, but I think that might just be a case of getting used to it.
Yeah, it takes some time to getting used to, and also knowing that you can press smart target anytime to force your pilot to look forward. And the other form of head tracking is, well, there's manual mouse look, so you can look around your cockpit that way, which is also useful. And then, yeah, I definitely want to get VR because I think this game is perfect for VR.
Oh, I mean, yeah, like
one of my,
yeah, any combat flight, you know, space or atmospheric like this is obviously excellent for VR sport.
And after this free fall is over, I want to switch to the asteroid map because I think it'd be fun to fight in that.
Oh, that'd be great.
That one has lots of hiding spots. But I don't want to deny Easy 8 his victory.
His win for this one.
And I'm gonna grab some water. Don't kill me, guys. I'm gonna go fly into the middle of nowhere so people don't kill me.
I got the heavy cannon twice.
Notice the other thing that I'm really proud of is the amazing draw distances. You can see the combat. I've seen people fighting like 10 kilometers out, and it looks like I play a lot of flight simulators. If you ever see flight sims, you can see like little dots in the distance duking it out. I used to play IL-2, and I would always, part of my ritual for playing IL-2 Sturmovik was to get a micro claw and wipe and clean my monitor really well so I wouldn't confuse specks of dust for enemy bogeys, you know?
Yeah, this heavy cannon is very difficult to use. Oh, nice shot. I'm just trying to play a little bit about watching chat. So if there's something, if you guys have a question that I'm missing in chat, you know, let me know. If there's anybody that's in chat that hasn't yet made it into game, if you're still waiting for the download or anything like that, you know, feel free to shout out. And forgive me, I just realized, guys, I haven't had Twitch chat. I had the wrong window open, so if I missed comments in Twitch chat, forgive me. Okay, I'm seeing it. Oh, yeah, Bernard, absolutely. When I said 50, 75%. Try better tracking and ship control panel. Cannon will always be on enemy. Okay. Let's get back in. And guys, we'll probably play this. I'll probably stream this for, I don't know, another maybe 15 minutes or so. Not that much, terribly longer. When Fernando gets back, we'll make sure there's nothing that, you know, what other things he wanted to cover before we call it quit. But I imagine there'll be a group of us playing maybe after the stream, and or certainly I would imagine in the Hunternet Discord. You know, people are obviously welcome to continue to hang out here while they're playing. But good, I got the Vulcan cannon again. It is a lot of fun. I mean, it's a lot of fun in the way that CQC is a lot of fun. And by the way, if you've not played CQC before, you really are missing out. The only thing that's not fun about CQC is the fact that it's nigh impossible to actually get a match.
Easy 8.
There we go. Perfect. Right. So it's hard to get a match in CQC, but really that's about the only bad thing about it. So
let's go back to regular loadouts.
Ship is now off. You can pick whatever you want. You can come to complete stop anywhere to refit.
Okay. What did I do?
Ooh.
This is weird. All of a sudden, I must have something locked. Oh, there it goes. Okay, so yeah, let's go to light. Oh, okay. I haven't tried the enhanced silent running yet. I'll try that. Let's try that. Oh yeah, the light feels so much better. And what's the mode for this one?
Free for all, and you can use whatever you want.
Okay, gotcha.
And repair on kill is still on, so if you get a kill, you repair. And have enemy call signs on.
Oh, nice shooting, Sensori. Yeah, because you can, like you said before, you can turn call signs off, so you literally don't even know who you're shooting at.
Yeah, it's good if people are teaming up on people, or just to. It's nice because the more you play, you start like recognizing people's loadouts and their fight styles, and it's like, oh, I know who that is, and it's really nice, you know. Just like again, like in World War I, if you know it's the Red Baron based on what plane he was flying, right?
Sure.
Not because they had name tags. Or in Battlestar Galactica when they're looking for Scar, remember?
That's right. Oh yeah,
absolutely. And they're like, is that him? How do you know it's him?
Yeah.
You know,
when Cat gets the kill on Scar. When Starbuck has to, if I remember right, Starbuck has to back off to let Cat get the kill.
Exactly.
Oh, I love these big asteroids flying around. It's very funny.
They're awesome.
Nice star step.
Good job with the asteroids.
GG.
Yeah, and do you plan? One question that just popped in my head: do you plan, like, when you think of the ultimate look of the game, are you planning for space to look, more Star Citizen Elite Dangerous, where it's kind of a tempting photorealism, or do you see yourself going with more, I wouldn't call this No Man's Sky, it's kind of maybe somewhere in the middle, where you've got this very pretty, almost reminds me of Star Trek Bridge Crew, if you've played that, where you've got this pretty background, but not necessarily real. I mean, I don't know that I'd call this unrealistic, but I think you maybe get the question I'm asking. Does that make any sense?
Yeah. I'm not the artist, so I really rely on the guys that are helping me, who are more in the art department, like Starstep and Voxel and Ivan, and have very good sense of visual design. But my idea is that I do want it to feel somewhat realistic, but we're not trying to mimic reality or be super high fidelity like Star Citizen.
Yeah, okay.
So, like you see, this ship could have, if this was a Star Citizen ship, it might have a lot more doodads and little widgets and just.
Oh, nice.
Or so that makes that sort of defines its style. It's a little bit stylized, but not super stylized.
Yeah.
What's the best way to put it? It's like yeah.
I think that's exactly the answer I was looking for. So perfect.
And then for the lighting, we really want, outer space has very high contrasty lighting.
Yeah.
And so that's definitely part of the art style.
Sure.
So there's those really deep shadows and really bright areas, and you have to deal with that. Yeah. When in real life, if you're shooting at somebody and they're coming at you from the sun, it's different. If there's fog, the fog makes it harder. So dealing with the environment matters.
This is a random kind of tech dev type question. Are any consideration of looking at ray traced lighting? Is that something that's now becoming accessible to smaller dev teams?
Unity supports RTX ray trace lighting and global illumination, so we could support it. The main issue with it is that, it's going to increase the
Well,
system
yeah,
requirements for people that
obviously.
need it. So we can't
Yeah.
fully depend on it at this point. But what I do, we have talked about lighting. Do we want to go with baked lighting or real-time lighting? The current plan is to keep with real-time lighting and then eventually transition to real-time global illumination as that becomes more mainstream and works better in Unity.
Yeah. Okay.
So we want to keep our system requirements reasonable.
What
but
do you have an
that is the direction
idea?
we're heading in.
Do you have an idea of what those either are now, or or what they will be? I'm assuming you know what they are now.
Right now, they're pretty low speed. You can, if you change to the potato graphical preset, you can run it on pretty old systems.
Okay,
But I don't know exactly what the hardcore minimum is.
What was that? I just saw some kind of.
But keeping, I don't want the game to be, you need to have a hardcore system to play. It should be pretty playable and moderate, even slightly old systems.
I mean, yeah, Rui, is it still playing very smoothly for you on your machine?
Oh yeah, very much so.
The other reason it's important is because the battles are only going to get larger when there's this open world. There's more. If this was an open world location, there might be a space station off in the distance. There might be a battle. There might be capital ships flying around, or miners, or other classes of vessels. So the more stuff you start drawing on the screen, you have to sort of distribute your art budget across all of that. So if you have hyper realistic, super detailed Starfighter models, you're not going to be able to have 100-player battle that runs smoothly.
Right. I'm realizing
you're not going to have polys for the capital ships either.
Sure. I'm realizing one of the mistakes that I'm making is that as I'm attacking somebody, so if you guys watch my shield capacitor, you can hear my cannon start to dramatically speed up as it drinks my shields dry. And I wasn't really paying attention to that, right? So I'm in the middle of a dogfight, I'm just holding the trigger down, and I'm doing myself a great disservice because I'm weakening myself to the point that, I'm making it a lot easier.
You're like a boxer swinging non-stop.
Yeah, right?
Using up all his stamina and then getting knocked out with a single punch.
Like just then, I just got wrecked. Thank you, whoever just saved me. Ah, nice. Stop to get me. Yeah, nice.
What happened to Star? Oh, that was you, Fernando.
Yeah, he got me with the ram. He was in a heavy.
Oh, you both died then. Okay, that's what that was.
Wait, I killed you.
Ah, we killed each other.
We killed each other.
Oh,
okay.
That's great. That's great.
Don't forget you have those SRMs too, Exigeous.
Oh yeah. Oh, trust me, I'm using them like crazy.
Oh, kill secured.
Is there ammo? I haven't noticed that.
With the UCS has no ammo.
Okay.
But the Earth Alliance is the complete opposite. Everything is a resource. They're gonna have limited fuel, limited ammunition, and they're only gonna have a very simple light shield. So you'll have to manage all the resources.
How many different factions do you envision in the game?
At a bare minimum, 2. But we would like to go from 2 to 3 with that alien faction, and then the sky's the limit, really.
Nice, guys. Okay.
The idea though is we want to take our time with the factions to make sure each faction brings something unique to the game. So that includes the avionics too. So they, it doesn't feel like it's a different manufacturer. It feels like it's a different faction.
Gotcha. Would it make sense to show that? Where did I put it? That slide you sent me that had the.
Oh yeah, the mood boards.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Let me find that real quick. Give me a quick second here, guys.
And Ivan, who's part of the community-led art team, is the guy who made that, and he's flying around with us too.
Where did I put it?
Ouch.
Oh, wrong email. That's why I'm like, wait a minute, I can't find it because I'm looking at the wrong email address. That would be why. There we go.
I have a new biggest complaint.
Yeah.
When you respawn, you're going like 3 meters per second, and you can't refit unless you turn on flight assist.
There it is. Pillars.
Yeah, you got to use flight assist to come to complete stop. You can refit before you respawn, by the way.
Yeah, I wanted to show the hive mind one, if that's all right.
Yeah, definitely.
Let me get that opened again. Oops. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, so let me show you guys this real quick. So this is so yeah. One you explain, Fernando.
Okay, let me go look at.
It's the hive mind / internal mood board slide. I hope that's the art.
That's
okay
it.
for me to show. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yep. Okay for you to. Okay. So yeah. So when we talked about the 4 pillars, one of those pillars was an external threat. So you wanted to have that dynamic where you have these at least 2 factions fighting each other, but that there's also this external threat that doesn't play by the same rules as the human factions. And that can be used in multiple ways. It can use to break stalemates, to just change the dynamics of the open warfare. And the current idea is, you want this to be a really alien faction, and one idea is, a hive mind. They're just some mood boards of, how alien and truly different this other faction could be. And it would be primarily an NPC faction. In the future, we might allow players to control some of these other factions, but that might require a unique control scheme. So, it's not something that I can say will happen right away. If at all, depends on how the game goes. But that's the general idea.
Man, dares shoot at me.
I tab out to put in some links in chat, and I get killed by Sajak. What a guy.
I went and found an asteroid to hide behind.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably smart.
God, what is going on here? Man,
hide in the shadows, my friend.
Keep shooting at me anymore.
I've got a thought grade Cyclops on me. Quite literally.
I mean, I think one of the reasons that we really want to do this because aliens in outer space is always interesting,
of course,
right?
Of course, right. And by the way, how many people did we get maxed? And when we maxed out, how many people do we have in right now?
Let me see. I need to add an easier way to do this other than counting one.
Sure. Starting to get big teams like this, you're definitely going to have to. All right, guys, we got to focus Star Step. He's 3 points
currently
away.
23 players.
23. Okay, all right. But we did top 26, right?
Yeah, we went over.
Yeah.
We went at least to 30, if not more.
30 was our max. Yeah.
Awesome. And that's that's 30 of a theoretical 700. Guys, yeah. And did I not just tell everybody to kill Star Step, and then he killed me? Of course.
To win the match, no less.
Nice flying. Star Step, do you play Elite as well?
No, I never played Elite.
Never played Elite. Okay, all right.
Nope.
Is there something that just on the surface turns you off about it, or just haven't?
I don't know. I think I found it a bit too complicated when I got into it, but I never really gave it much trial.
Sure.
I think I only played it like an hour.
You're not the only one, dude. Like when I first bought it, right? I played for a couple hours and was like, "Oh my god, this is awesome!" But are you kidding me? Like I don't have time for this, right? And then I've told the story a lot, but then I got the first Oculus Rift, the CV1. Hated it, to be honest with you. I was really disappointed with the the image quality and the field of view and stuff. And I thought, and I was going to sell it, right? Because I got it right at launch. I was a backer, and so I had one, like literally day one. And so I posted on Craigslist the first night I got it. A guy offered me $1,200 for it, and I paid $6. And the next morning I got up and I thought, I think that Dangerous game, what was that called? Elite something, right? And I got Elite out, and I had a Warthog that was in the closet that I'd bought like a year or so to play something else, probably like IL-2 or something. And again, never had time. And got it all set up, and 5 minutes in, I was like, okay, I'm done. You're never taking this away from me. I have to learn how to play this game.
And perhaps I should revisit it again.
Yeah, and I jumped in one of the Discords, the main Discord, and started asking questions, and here we are, almost 8,000 hours, and what is that? Almost 5 years later. So, yeah, it is. I mean, it's very complex. The biggest problem with it, and that a lot of people don't like, is if you're not the type who's either going to ask questions, jump into Discord and that kind of thing, or you're going to go watch YouTube videos. Man, I don't know how else you'd learn it.
You can't play the game without third party.
I mean, you absolutely cannot play the game without a web browser and I wouldn't say I'd almost say YouTube's required. Web browser is definitely
Yeah.
required for the different tools that we use to play. And like, for example, let's say in game you want to go buy a multi-cannon, right? Well, where do you go buy that? How do you know that the station you're landing at has, a large gimbaled multi-cannon? Well, the game, you don't. Right? You literally would just have, there's a few stations that sell everything, but for the most part, just out in normal space, you wouldn't. So there's tools that let you look that up, right? Here's where I am. Where's the closest place that does this, that kind of stuff. So, the community's done a really good job of filling the holes in the game. But that still doesn't mean it's easy. For most people, tell me if you disagree, Rui, I would say that at 100 hours, you don't know anything. At 500 hours, you've got the basics. You know most of the systems. You've probably done a lot of the stuff, at least that's your main gameplay. Look if you're a combat guy or trader, right? But I would say it's probably most players at least 1,000 to 1,500 hours until you've done everything at least once, and you've done a lot of engineering and that kind of thing, right? Like you're still kind of a newbie.
I've got 4,000. I've got 4,000 hours. I still don't know everything. Like the BGS stuff.
Yeah.
Who knows? I don't know anything about BGS stuff.
That's right. And BGS, just quickly for those that don't know, that's background simulation. So that's the background economy and or not really, well, the economy to a degree, but it's really like what factions control what star systems and things like that. And the players can manipulate all that. So
the thing is, I think one of the things that turned me off the most about Elite is that when I tried to Google how to get into PvP and be competitive, I think somebody wrote that it requires a lot of grinding.
That's right.
After
That's right.
Engineering thing.
That's right.
And that really turned me off. I don't want to be competitive after like 1,000 hours of playing.
That's right.
So this is what I love about Hunternet is that okay, everything is available for everybody, so everybody can get in and be competitive in the game.
Yep, and I agree, right? Because yes, in Elite, to be competitive in PvP, you're gonna. The only thing you could do right off the bat would be CQC, and that is very, very low usage, unfortunately. And it's very different for the main game of Elite too. But basically, if you want to be competitive in PvP, you're talking like I think for me, if I started a new count right now. And like knowing exactly how to do everything, and I went straight to trying to get a PvP ship. What do you think you could do that in, Rui? Like 300 hours?
Oh God! If you're new and didn't know anything, it would take you longer.
Oh yeah.
300 hours is fair.
For you.
No, I don't know, because I've known people that got into PvP in their first 100 hours. So it depends on what kind of player you are.
Yeah, if you're going to just
an absurd time investment.
It is. Regardless, it is a huge time investment.
And it's not built from the ground up as a PvP game. It's more of a grind game.
It's not.
It's built as a grind game.
Absolutely, it is.
And the PvP they just happen to have the best flight model in the genre. So it's like, well, okay, subjectively best flight model in the genre.
Yes. And right now, I agree. I'm definitely digging this. Don't get me wrong, right? But I think big part of it, obviously, for us, Rui, is Elite's home, right? It's just what we're used to. But no, there is a lot great about Elite, but the grind is the worst part, right?
I personally own Elite. At least I don't know which version of it. I've played the tutorial missions, not even all of them, but it's just the time commitment for somebody who, like me, who doesn't have that much free time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's just even if I wanted to play it really badly, I just don't have the time.
And for most people, that's the problem.
And then also the information barrier where you have to look things up. I want to be when I do have time to play, I want to be playing it and not looking stuff up and not watching videos and reading websites. So that's another big thing with Hunternet, with the open world design. I want things to be very visual, very easy to grasp naturally without having to look it up. That's why all the weapons are very iconic. You see a dumb rocket, you know what a dumb rocket is. Everything is in your face. It's not buried in menus. It's not there's resources. It'll just be a handful of really obvious resources. I was looking at Star Citizen's resource list, and it was 18 different resources. You had to somehow know that certain resources were the ones you wanted to mine because they're the ones that are worth the most. And it's just that level of complexity is just too much for me to handle.
Yeah, and as Rui said, with Elite and Star Citizen's very much this way too. You have to be, you have to use third-party tools, right? I don't know how you would how you would play either game. I mean, I have a couple friends or I've heard people along the way who were kind of stubborn and refused to, at least early on, said they refused to use third-party stuff, right? I just, yeah, more power to them.
I'm sorry. I'm flying like just an absolute piece of shit right now.
Yeah, I'm not flying all that great either, but I don't like.
No. I mean, like I'm flying a bomber with the 2 whole mods and a Gatling gun. I'm just reversing on people. I feel so dirty.
I mean, the bomber is the slowest ship, so they if they want to close the distance, they can.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm flying the 6 booster.
What is this 6 booster thing I keep hearing?
Oh yeah,
it's okay. In Elite Dangerous, basically, you can stack shields to like an absurd degree, to the point where like
nice
each like shield booster you put on is like a 20% increase in your overall health pool, and so you can just stack like 6 shield boosters in the strongest shield in the game, and you just become.
Yeah, you know the Fer-de-Lance. You've heard of the Fer-de-Lance, right? Does that ring a bell? Okay, the FDL. Yeah, so he's talking about the FDL. It's got 6 utility slots, so you run nothing else on. Normally you'd run like a heat sink or chaff or things like that, right? Where you just run 6 boosters, and it's not even fun because it's, I mean, with a decent
I think
pilot,
it's fun. It's fun, I mean, if you're at the point where you're not like struggling with the controls anymore.
Well, no, I was going to say it's not fun to fight against, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not fun to fight against because it's so strong. So most of when we do PvP tournaments, we ban, we put limits on things like number of boosters, and certain weapons get banned. Seeker missiles are one of the biggest that are kind of a no-no in PvP because they're just so incredibly OP.
I mean, they're not necessarily OP. They're just no effort, like a zero effort weapon.
Well, that's what I mean. Yeah, they're like in Elite.
Okay, no, I take that back. They are OP.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what I mean,
your
right?
Weapons.
Yeah. So like, I target you with a missile specifically with. We talked earlier about dumbfire missiles, and once your shields go down, I hit you with. I fire a volley dumbfire missiles at you. I don't sub-target anything, nothing like that. I just fire them at you, and when they impact your hull, they wreck all your weapons. So in a matter of, with a few very easy shots, very low skill, I wreck every weapon you have and fight over, right? Because you can't even fight back. So it's just it makes it not
the
fun.
effort reward is out of whack.
That's right. Oh, I love the missile launcher.
Years of Reversky has prepared me for this.
I'm gonna find your Reversky.
Oh, it's Easy 8 found me.
So in this game,
Rui,
it's not that.
You're leading, Rui.
I am.
Yeah, you sure are.
He's worth 5 points. The LRMs are also really fun. The key thing with the LRMs, and if you're in a bomber, you can equip multiple LRMs. So
LRM?
The reload is 15 seconds, but if you have 3 of them, you can send one out every 5 seconds.
What's LRN?
Long range missile.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
The key thing to understand about the LRMs is that they track best when the main thrusters are facing the head of the missile. So you want to, if you face towards the LRM, then they're no longer able to track your primary heat source, and they're easier to avoid. Or if you just don't use your main thrusters to keep them cool and rely on your vertical and lateral thrusters instead, then that helps you deal with them. But they're good to, if anybody's running away, to force them to maneuver, so you can cut the circle and catch up to them.
Gotcha. Again, if there's anybody out there that hasn't gotten in yet, if you haven't even jumped in yet, you'd like to join us, again, completely free, and 900 meg downloads, so relatively straightforward and easy. Come join us, please. And Fernando, I think here in 10, 15 minutes or so, maybe even a little sooner than that, I'll probably wrap things up. What other things that have we not covered that you wanted to cover?
Let me look at the list.
Yeah, okay. I kind of went through it too and didn't see anything major.
Okay, let me see. Where did I have it? So we talked a little about how the game has really, really good sim hardware support. That's really important for me. You can use any number of pedals, joysticks, pedals, and
no
mouse.
limit to just 4 or anything crazy like that. Yeah.
Every button, every axis. Fine-tune the dead zones while you're using it. It's a game that's multiplayer first design, so really good multiplayer, drop in, drop out, easy to play together with your friends. Very strong emphasis on not wasting players' time, so that if you don't have much time, you can even if you only have 15 minutes, you can have 15 minutes of fun, right? Instead of 15 minutes of preparation.
Yeah, I mean, in fact, I just disconnected and reconnected, and you guys see how incredibly fast that is, right? I mean, you are in game like instantly.
And then the other thing I would say is the development process. It's very iterative and community focused. So like I release one build every single week, at least, sometimes multiple times a week.
Okay.
And we have test parameters. So when I release a build, then a lot of times I don't know. I mean, I'm not God, right? I don't know what's the right damage for the Vulcan cannon or the rate of fire, or this is I'll get a ballpark. And then I'll put in some mission parameters or test parameters that allow any players to do A/B testing and say, "Oh, is this better? Is this worse?" So we can iterate at the speed that I haven't seen any other space games. We can get. That's how the weapons are so balanced and the flight model is so finely tuned, because we have that really rapid feedback loop between the players and the builds. That I think is really important, and I want to keep that going forward as we add new mechanics to like really involve the community to figure out how should mining work, how should the economy run. And then the last thing I wanted to say was I really wanted to make sure the world felt like the world, instead of I wanted to avoid sort of the World of Warcraft kind of theme parky thing. I mean, a lot of games try to do that, but it's really important that the NPCs eventually make the world feel more alive. Even if the game is focused on starfighters and your experience as a starfighter pilot, I want to flesh out the rest of the world so it makes sense when you see what's going on around you.
Well, that was fun. And are there any other game modes that we haven't done today?
Let me look.
Okay, just out of curiosity.
Oh, we didn't. So there's Squad Wars,
okay,
which is squads of up to 4 pilots. So you can form them in the game.
Okay. It's
a free-for-all basically based on squads. And you can play with the smaller squad, which means if you're a squad of 2, when you respawn, you'll start out with more hull. If you're in a squad of 4 and you respawn, you'll start out as partially damaged. But of course, your squad mates could repair you with the repair tool, which we didn't actually use. But there is a repair tool that lets you do combat repairs.
Okay.
We also didn't play the survival mode, which is a single life team battle, which is pretty intense because you know that once you're dead, you're dead. Yeah, but I think we covered the different modes, and there was a map.
A map that we didn't do.
There's this
map.
Okay. This is just the deep space map.
Just open space.
Nothing there. There's open space, yeah.
Ooh, that's pretty intense.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Nowhere to hide.
Nowhere to hide. Yep. That's what I was just about to say.
And the lighting is very different. There's no strong lights.
I do enjoy the darker.
Spooky.
Yeah, in some ways, I don't know if this is my favorite map, but yeah, this is pretty intense.
No, it's definitely not the most interesting.
Nice.
But I do like that.
Yeah.
Oh, and I forgot to show you what I call Old Blue. Old Blue is what you played before Exigeous, before this graphical update. Let me show it real quick. People can see what the map looked like. It's not nearly as pretty, I think, as the other ones, but it's still okay. And I'll show the old capital ships.
Oh, so they're all still in. Yeah, okay.
I love how instant that is.
I like the blue.
In my
the blue lighting is
nice. Yeah, I actually do like this quite a lot. Yes, and I do remember.
And these rockier asteroids do have their charm to them. Definitely.
Yeah, Box Soul is reimagining this location as like a battlefield with like broken up capital ships and stuff.
Okay,
so they'll probably
like
make a comeback reimagined.
Because you already have the asteroid field in the other map.
Yeah. And as you can tell, like the other map used to be the red map with 2 capital ships, and that red planet is from the old map. So we'll probably reuse this planet and make a new unique location. And the beautiful backdrops are made by Ivan. You probably see them flying around.
Okay.
Wow. That planet.
But yeah, I'm really excited to do it's like right now I'm doing engineering upgrades side by side the graphical updates, but when we start adding warp capability and you can use your HUD menu to bring up a navigation map and get a warp point, have to align, get your energy levels right up, start your warp drive, and switch between systems. I think that's going to be really fun. Which reminds me of one thing that I think would be cool to talk if we have time. In Elite, people can disconnect to get out of combat.
Right.
And in Star Citizen, I hear a lot of complaints about it being too easy to disengage from fights. You know, just warp away or just
Right.
speed off into the distance. And that's another big part of the design is like you should be able to get away. So not every single fight is a fight to death, but it shouldn't be so easy that you can always do it. So that's going to be that's going to carry on into the warp mechanics and the faster than light mechanics.
Maxie's trying his best to fight the chonker. No, he's running away.
I need to kill Rui in his chunky build. I love that. I entered one of our tournaments. Me and my wingman was Boxel. We often team up. He likes the big boy, the boomer, and we did double bombers. And it's cool in a bomber with a teammate. You can kind of compensate for your lack of maneuverability.
Yeah, I would imagine it's more like Elite, where like the bigger ships are better at a 1v. I don't know. I need to play the game more before I form opinions like that. But like in Elite, technically, like the less maneuverable, bigger, tankier ships are better for 1v1s, and then
really
everything else. Yeah,
they're better for 1v1s, not in team fights.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And well, it depends. I mean, I don't even know that I've ever seen a like large class wing fight. I've never been in one. They're so long, right? I mean, that's the problem. I think would be, and then plus since the big class ships,
there you are.
Like the worst thing you want is to fight like a Vulture versus a Corvette or something like that, right? Because the Corvette obviously does a lot more damage. That's the large class, and the Vulture is small class. But the Vulture is so maneuverable, right? With a good pilot and with some good engineering, you're never going to be in the line of fire of the vet.
I do feel that large wing fights are quicker than smaller fights, though. If both pilots have a very good ship, and they, even though they're hitting their shot, they're not going to do.
Oh, there's like 15 people shooting at me.
I mean, they can't. Right? Like the problem is most large class ship fights in Elite, you're going to have cell banks. So for those that aren't Elite players, those are like a big capacitor that dumps a whole lot of energy back in your shields all at once, right? And shit, I mean, you can get 50 cell banks on some crazy builds, 48 of them, something like that. So it becomes just a game of attrition, right? There's skill involved, but it's not piloting like this at all, right? It's not the kind of piloting that I enjoy, because it's much more slower paced, harder slugging, that kind of thing. Just different styles. Some people love it, just not my bag.
Yeah. Well, the thing I was thinking, I mean, if your starfighters are that tanky, then how tanky are your capital ships going to be? Or medium size.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so that's.
Yeah, they aren't.
Absolutely in Elite, but they're like see, that's the thing, is they're not that much comparatively, because if you get like the Imperial Cutter, for example, which is like
nice, Rui.
I would say it's a good like 6 times tankier than the FTL.
Yeah.
I would. Yeah. But if you get 4 people on it, it'll go down in like a minute.
That's right.
So
that's right. That's right.
So it's more about team tactics and like working together to take stuff down in Elite Dangerous.
Get off me, guys! Jesus, I spawned in and I'm dead.
I should play the game with you guys.
Yeah, I think we have people that could share accounts. We have people that could share accounts that you could use.
Yeah, we could probably work out a decent ship for him, couldn't we?
Oh, someone's learned how to fight me.
I finally played Star Citizen once. During the last free fly week, I finally got to play, but I didn't play with any other human beings, so I can't say I know that game very well either. But I've been told that I need to play House of the Dying Sun before I start implementing VR. That's
House
a really
of the Dying
good example.
Sun. Yeah, I didn't play it a ton. It's really interesting. It's a low poly game, right? So it's visually, different, and I like the style of it. But it's low poly, so performs really well because of that. And it's like I never really learned. It's pretty not simple because you're doing tactical combat at the same time. So at the
Ooh.
Okay, everybody, I think I'm back. I just realized as I went to stop the stream, I looked down and was like, I think everything's been muted for the last 2 minutes when I've been talking. So can you guys confirm you can hear me? Are we back? For those of you that actually hung around with me this long. Basically, I'll do it good very briefly. I was thanking Fernando for joining us. Okay, yes, we are back now. Jesus, that was pretty ridiculous. So Fernando, again, thank you very much for joining us and for bringing us another great space game like this.
My pleasure. It was a blast.
Yeah, and I think again we'll repeat what we just said in Discord a second ago. That once you move to Kickstarter, move to early access, I know you were saying that getting the word out is kind of the hardest thing right now. I've got to think that that's not going to be that hard after that. Have you set up a subreddit yet?
I have one. It's private yet. I haven't made it public. I'm not ready to start managing it.
Of course. I think once you go to Kickstarter and stuff, that's probably when you want. Okay, good. We've got another that says they're signing up. That's great. Oh, yeah, sorry. Let me put that up at least. Whoops, not that one. There we go. I'll at least sorry, I had black screen up, so I'll just put up the map or the mood board as you sent me. So again, thanks everybody for joining. I thank Rui for joining and giving us somebody else to shoot too. Rui was helping us out ahead of time, making sure that we had the three of us to talk through stuff early on. So thanks again for doing that, Rui. I appreciate it, buddy. In fact, you can go to Rui's channel. If they just search Rui Rebuy on YouTube, will they find you, Rui?
Probably, yeah. I mean...
Yeah, so go search Rui Rebuy. Go subscribe to him. He puts out or maybe not even almost exclusively PvP based content. So if you are interested in PvP, Rui's a great source to go to. Fernando, as you move forward with this, couple months, hell, at your speed, a couple weeks, but a couple months down the road, we'll definitely do this again.
Oh, awesome! That's great, and I'm really looking forward to it. The other thing, if they play, feel free. They can share whatever they want. It's an open alpha. I think I want to make that clear.
That's great. So if they've got friends that they want to tell about and they want to all get and play, we can all do that. That's awesome.
Yeah, I would love to do another stream, and I would love to join you guys for some Elite Dangerous.
Yeah, no, please. We'll definitely do both. Absolutely. So again, thank you very much for joining Fernando and for showing this to us. I appreciate everybody stopping by, and I look forward to seeing you guys all next week. Take care, everybody.